Hey guys, what's going on? I'm Billy Vasily and welcome to Sigma Cast. Today we've got Billy Zig, author of The Elusive Curve. What are doing, Billy?
Very well there, Billy. Thank you for having me here. And Kamal, very nice to meet you.
Yep. And
sorry, no first names. I'm known as the unknown.
My best mate, who's the K, the unknown. Doesn't want to, keep it discreet.
Some things should be unknown, shouldn't they?
Yeah, I reckon, 100%. It's awesome to have you guys here. It's been in the making for a long time. And I've been very keen for this one. So
likewise, it has been in the making for a long time, and we had some COVID lockdowns in between since the first time we met. Because I think that's how we actually met.
We met, yeah. We met at one of those lockdown freedom things. Meetings. Everyone gathered at the Balkans Cafe, and that's where we met.
That was fantastic, and it was so good because when we did meet, because we were already connected, we knew they were lying about this thing that just happened to us. So outside, it was just so easy saying to you, hey, I'm a flat earther. I believe the earth is flat as well.
Yeah.
And then you didn't, point your finger or, you took, and I thought, cool, this
guy's cool. His name's Billy there. What's going on? He's Billy in his Greek.
We just got along so well, and here we are now chatting.
You're Billy Z, I'm Billy V. What a dog.
Very cool.
Exactly.
Yeah, nice one. So it's so good to meet people in Melbourne that are questioning things, and that's where,
of course, man.
Where I think you've got a lead up of questions for me.
Let's get started.
Yeah, that's
awesome,
cool. Fantastic. I'm ready.
I've got a list here of the 20 biggest conspiracy theories.
Yeah, cool.
Right, and I just wanted to run through them.
Let's go.
Yeah, so the first one being the 9/11 attacks that happened September 2001. September 11, 2001. Some believe that the US government had prior knowledge or even orchestrated the attacks of September 11, 2001. What do you guys think about that?
Do you want to shoot first?
Yeah, that's
a standard. That's an easy one.
That's one. We cracked that one when we were like 13 or whatever.
We cracked
2001.
That one
I think we were 12. It took us about a year to understand that one. But that's...
It was all for oil, bro. It was all for oil and to destroy the Middle East for some reason.
Endless benefits for those involved.
It's so sad.
There's that theory that they were actually DEWs rather than
weapons.
missiles or...
So many theories on that. I was chatting with somebody the other day, and we both agreed that 9/11 is, obviously, not as per the official narrative. I'll start with that. And then we started getting into, I said, maybe there was no planes because I didn't see a plane. Other people, even on the ground, didn't see them. And only the people that saw them, they had all these official explanations straight away. I saw a plane. And, it was the reason it came down. Within an hour, this guy's got an official explanation of how the buildings fell down. It was because of the, building and the way, really? But these guys were controlled opposition. So now we agree on the fundamental principle that it wasn't as per the initial narrative.
No way. What happened to World Trade Center 7?
You said, and I'll touch on how you asked the question, you said, do you think America had you had prior knowledge?
Yeah.
I think you asked. What I'll say, how I'll answer, I don't think just America had prior knowledge. I reckon heaps of countries had prior knowledge.
Yeah, they would have been
I reckon
in agreement.
They, them.
Them knew world order.
They, them knew that something, they all knew because Australian media was on full, team go. Everyone was team go the next day. Red team go, red team go. Airport should be... The media within a day was saying, airport should be screened and this and that. And everything that they did, it was already there pre-planned, just like they did with the recent one that happened as well.
Arab people got really, they copped it after that,
Copped it big time.
Yeah,
So it was a finger-pointing thing as well.
Yeah,
Who does the finger-pointing?
A whole race of people copped it for no reason.
Yeah, exactly. Except the real people that did it. Only that race, and I don't know if we can go into that. That race didn't get attacked or mentioned in any of that. But we know they were dancing, small hats, and there was all sorts
small
of
hats.
there were all sorts of, I don't know how far we can go. But there were...
We'll cop a direct energy weapon right here.
Exactly. And what was the reason? Was it, gold? Was it oil? Was it drugs? God? Gold, oil,
people
drugs?
Smuggling.
Power.
Was it even power?
They've got all that already.
Was it even to hide a lot of... Because Iraq and Mesopotamia has a lot of Mesopotamia in the middle of two rivers, Mesor and Potami, which is river.
Yeah,
and in the middle of these two rivers, the Euphrates and the Tigris River, exactly. That's where everything began, right? So when they destroyed and they attacked these cities, they destroyed so much archaeology that you wouldn't believe.
Ancient archaeology.
Same with Syria. Stuff that defies logic. Go, okay, you're saying these people were dumb that lived in that area, in that region, in Middle East, and they're like, don't know anything. But look what they built. 5, 6, 10,000 years ago.
Exactly.
And it's really trippy topic. So there was a lot. There's not just the goal, there wasn't just one reason behind.
No, they would have had ancient technology that was different to what we're using now as like silicon-based technology. That we've reversed engineered probably from the Roswell incident.
Incredible.
Who knows?
Incredible. But that night, just so we sort of, how far can we go on the 9/11 top? But that's like deep, because didn't it change a lot? You guys said that you were, thought 13 or 15 at the time when that happened. I was 31 when that happened, and that changed me entirely. So I could just imagine as a child, not as a child,
we
but
questioned everything from then onwards, man. We were questioning everything. It was hectic.
I was burning DVDs for like truther documentaries and handing them out in the corridors
for free.
Just other students. So imagine the spread that you've done, even other people that have. Wow, that's where you started. It's big, isn't it? To then to go, what? That's what the government is doing. If you discover that at 14, that age, as a teenager, then, gee, that must be hard going through the education system.
And we were laughing the whole time. We were laughing the whole time.
I think your teacher's got no official explanations. You probably saw them trying to
I'm looking at the teacher going, this teacher's an NPC there. What's going on here?
Right.
My parents are paying, send me to this school, and I've already clocked it in a way. These teachers are just regurgitating.
Do you remember... who was that tech teacher or the psycho one? Oh, no, there was a good one.
Mr. Hoy?
No, there was another one. Anyways, he was showing us like the official, like there were like the architectural breakdowns of how they fell, because it was the tech teacher, he was trying to break it down, the engineering behind it and the physics behind it. And I was just looking at him.
We just shut him down. And we were like, all right, bro, all right.
It was ridiculous.
This guy. And he thought he had all the answers, didn't he?
He was just pressing play on a YouTube video from like the official investigators, and it was just silly. And all the other kids were like, oh, miss. No idea.
It's amazing. And as we sort of touched on before, that all the media, they all had the same thing. They're playing that same...
they all had the narrative to push.
The guy on a plane, and he made a phone call, and he's like, "Hi, Mum," and he says his full name to his. It's
the passports.
Really, You're gonna say
is this the guy that flew the plane into it?
No, one of the passengers.
They
had a voice recording. It was like a heartbreak story.
Exactly, and he had perfect communication from his telephone back in 2001, which I don't know if they did it with, they were 9 kilometres up or something when he made this phone call.
I can't even get reception here. How are you going to get reception
but
there?
There's no break in the call. And it's
2024. I still don't have reception.
9/11's a huge one, isn't it?
That was a big one, and that was an eye-opener for heaps of people.
Yeah, for sure. And how is it that even after 20 years that we still haven't concluded, or no one's been, brought to justice for that?
They keep bamboozling us with more and more shit. That's what they do.
Don't they? Yeah.
All right, let's go to the second one now.
Just before we move on, I actually use that as a screening question.
A litmus test. Nice
it's just like, if you don't know, if you haven't even bothered looking at any alternate narratives, then it's like, how will you ever? That would be pre-Schmovid. I call it Schmovid. Pre-Schmovid, that was the biggest conspiracy, apart from what we'll get into eventually. But in terms of our lifetime, the biggest event, the biggest international event. And if you haven't bothered to look into that, then obviously nothing else is...
I'm not going to open up Pandora's box to you.
Yeah, exactly. To try and explain everything. Because that changed the world. The way we travelled, the way...
That was the first big step towards the New World Order.
Wasn't it?
Oh, the Patriot Act.
And now we're going towards 2030,
wasn't
right?
It? Yeah, and they're just on target, aren't they? Because they actually come out and tell you Agenda 21, and like, bang, when did this all, bang, right on 2020, you know, we copped it almost on New Year's Day. They came out with this, you know, thing.
Because they're going hard, man. They're going
hard.
They
don't even watch it have fun for one day, right?
Nah.
Not for one day on that New Year's Day. They had to come out with this, you know, breaking news. Because that's when they did it. They started there and they...
Whatever happened...
Chinese people just draw up
whatever happened to those guys that just would be on their phone standing and then they just...
I know, they drop and they put their hands down before they fall. Because everyone does that when they, you know, get knocked out, don't they?
Yeah, totally.
Do you want to go number 2 or? I'm intrigued to see this
20, I feel like 20 will
Maybe
be...
we can mesh these all together at the end, you know?
Probably,
as a super question.
So number 2 is the moon landing.
Ooh, that's a good one.
So the moon landing hoax, right? Conspiracy theorists argue that the Apollo moon landings were faked by NASA.
Wow. Why would they do that? They would never lie. NASA's, you know,
so back then... lies.
Yeah.
That's right.
And that's a big one, isn't it? And that's one of the first ones I got into. So you guys said your first one was that. I was about 26 years old when I came across... You know, that's when the internet, I first, you know, dial-up internet, you know, and I love the moon landings. I, you know, love science and, you know, the science of the
and pictures of the pale blue dot by Carl Sagan and all that stuff.
I questioned, you know, because I wasn't born when I was born 1970, so just after, I guess, you know, wasn't, like, a lot of people tell me they were in class and they watched the TV, and you go look at those TVs in 1969.
Big boxes.
Oh, like, a horrible vision, like, you know, and NASA actually... When they showed that vision, it wasn't even raw footage coming from there. And they actually, NASA screened it on a big screen there, and they had every other reporter
filming
that. So it was secondhand.
It's like 144p there.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. And people believe that. But anyway, the moon landing was a big one for me. 1996, jumping on the internet, and it was a cool site and broke it all down. Because back then it wasn't as shadow banned as it is now. You could actually type and, you know, there was can't remember how I got linked to this website, but this guy just explained it very simply, and it made me really think, how did they do it? No way they went there. And I sort of go, yeah. And I hope we tie it back, because I didn't believe that, okay, just because you lied about the moon landing, you're going to lie about everything else. I thought that was a purpose to beat... You know, there's a Cold War occurring.
That's what it makes.
You know, so even if they lied,
just want to beat Russia.
You know, the nefarious purpose that I found out later on, you know, to be. So, yeah, definitely they lied about that. And there's a lot of science behind that disproves that. And I wrote about that in my book, because they're saying we live on a ball, right? And, you know, that ship, the spaceship, had to leave Earth and it orbits our Earth to build up enough velocity to get to 17,500 miles an hour, and then it slingshots out and it zooms around the moon now, orbits the moon now, and then lands, one of the LEM then ejects off this rocket, lands on the moon. What's happening is, okay, fair enough if that was like that. Okay, you went there and came back. But that's whilst this this ball is going around the sun at 66,000 miles an hour, plus flying through the universe at 500,000 miles an hour. The sun is. The sun is. Well, we're gravitationally locked onto this, doing our orbit as well as the moon orbits us. And then the universe expands at 1.2 billion miles an hour. So how does the rocket leave this as it's traveling? You know, it just defies logic. It would get lost in space effectively. Because if the rocket...
Because everything's expanding, right?
The 500,000 miles an hour, they say it just gravitationally is locked to somehow because they reach this magical velocity. Just the whole thing is just bullshit. Actually, just crap. The lie, once you look at the moon landings and break it down, even from the physics of, the basic physics, because I probably didn't even explain it to someone could explain it better than that. But the simplicity of that, or looking at their spacesuits,
technology,
looking at the lunar rover that drove around, and it looks like there was like puppets, on there, right? Not even real people. If you examine that, it's like those things
but there was
don't
wind.
move.
There was wind in it.
It never moves.
It was windy. The flag was flapping in the wind. The fuck's the wind coming from?
A lot of factors. The food,
Stanley Kubrick.
Their nappies. Like, where did you go to the toilet during the 3 or 4 days, 5 that you're in on this mission? 3 people
eating space food,
capsule.
toothpaste and shit.
Exactly. the pressure of it, and like straight away, if that thing was taking off, who knows what's going to happen to your bodily functions?
When did they go? When did they go to the
1969 was their first
1969 was the first
manned mission, apparently.
And then how many times did they go to the moon?
It was seven.
Land. And then they stopped when?
They did 7. I think they did 13 missions in total.
When Columbia exploded?
2 failed, 11 went up there, 7 were manned, something like that. And I might have that wrong, but it won't be far off.
But everybody died except Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah, there was a guy who died as they were testing the rockets and everything, and they were actually testing the communications between when they got into the cockpit of the spaceship.
Yeah.
And what happened is that there was breakdown, and he couldn't communicate, and it was like failing, and he ended up saying, "Look, if we can't even communicate between each other, how are we going to get to the moon? Now we're going to communicate there." And he ended up getting a coat hanger and putting a lemon on it, and he hung it at the front of the spaceship.
Yeah,
right? At the door
as
of the
a decoration. Yeah,
you have to say this is a lemon, right?
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Man, 5, 6, or 7 days later, they were doing another test simulation inside the cockpit, and it caught fire, and they all died. Those 3 guys died.
Oh, are you serious? In a simulation, they died.
Yeah, on Earth
they couldn't even do a simulation.
Exactly, let alone going up there. And up there was no problem. They could play golf, drive their cars, flags up, drop hammers and feathers and.
So you're telling me that in 1969, when they had literally the Mustang just like came out, the Mustang Fastback, carburetor engines. You don't got electric windows.
Yeah.
You got TVs that are the size of like a small room with a 34 centimeter screen, cathodes, right? And they haven't been back to the moon since.
No.
And now we've got iPhone 15 Pro Max and the latest technology.
Exactly. Yeah. And just, perfect what you said, because it's not just about, put that ball down, it's not just about those really important topics, but there's so much that could have gone wrong in this spaceship, and now even some of the astronauts said, if you poke your finger through the wall of the space, your finger will go through that. What are you talking about? How does this pressurize inside there? Where did your oxygen come from?
It's supposed to be mega radiation.
The batteries. There's actually a great documentary if anyone watch it's called A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon.
Okay. I'll put it up.
It's fantastic. Yeah. And even when it's made by a guy named Bart Sibrel, and he, I don't know who he is, but he asked some great questions to the astronauts. Would you put your hand on the Bible and swear that you went there? And they don't do it. But Buzz Aldrin actually punches him in the face.
Oh, yeah.
Another guy that he asked, Collins, I think his name was, in his house, get out of here when he asked him. We've got footage that showed how you faked the Earth. So what they did is they threw the whole, the cockpit of not the cockpit, the fuselage of the rocket that they went up there with, there was a porthole, and it showed how they took the camera back here and were taking photo of Earth, but they covered some of the porthole, that way to appear that they were taking a photo of a ball Earth. And it makes you wonder, was that one of the reasons why they wanted to go to the moon? Because they had to convince mankind that they live on a spinning ball.
So they were
trying up to then, everyone believed was questioning the science of
curvature in the way.
Show people the ball. That's why I reckon they went there. That's what I reckon. The key reason, and all the other countries would go along with it, including Russia and China and all of them that could have disclosed at the time.
India just went to the moon.
Exactly. And even Australia was involved in the moon missions, weren't they? When they had the parks.
There'll be a 7-Eleven there next week.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But the moon landing, huge. Like, people should look into that and question that, because that's my litmus test when I sort of chat with people.
Interesting.
About this
for your generation. It was there's the litmus test.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Yeah, that's
a big one. It's a big one.
Huge. Yeah. Same with Area 51.
Yeah,
we all know about Area 51. Well, if I was creating areas, I wouldn't name the first one 51, right? So is there 49, 50 before that?
Is there 52?
And how many is after that, right?
Exactly.
482, because I reckon America's connected with all these. It's interconnected. Have you seen the DUMBs? Are you aware of them?
Deep underground military bases,
That's exactly right.
Yeah, they've got one in Pine Gap.
Man, even in Australia we've got them. But in America, you see them, and there's videos of them online, where you see semi-trailers going under there both ways as semis, and they get to a junction where it goes 5 ways like that, and these cross underground, and they move a lot of their
USA.
You know, so is this what they do with the fake moon landing money?
They've got unlimited black.
What is it? 60
really
million?
doing stuff down there, as above, so below.
Yeah.
So anyway, All right.
Do they get
Area 51's huge though, isn't it?
Yeah. Speculation of extraterrestrial activity and government cover-ups at the secret military base in Nevada.
What do you reckon?
It's another, as you said, it's something else to focus on in terms of, I don't know too much about the history of it. I used to be obsessed with it when I was much younger, and then I started to realize whatever we get from these whistleblowers, you know, ex-CIA
How can you trust him? David Grush, what's going on with this guy? He seems like an NPC, bro.
Yeah. Like,
these guys are very really smooth, good. very articulate. That. You know, it's like, man, legitimately, if they're coming out to expose government secrets, they're not going to be on
mainstream.
Are they? They're not going to.
They're not going to be promoted on mainstream. No. That's the number one. That's
if they are, it's Project Bluebeam.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's some kind of angle.
There's an angle that we haven't seen yet. It's a card that they're playing, and we just don't know what they're going to play. But Area 51, like, I'm not into it used to be a big UFO thing, and that's So when you connect that and you watch the movies, so if you watch
X-Files.
X-Files is good
as well. I loved X-Files.
And what was that one? Independence Day.
Oh,
great. Everybody in the world uniting to get the aliens.
To get them, and
Project Bluebeam propaganda.
Great speeches from politicians, and God save the world. And everyone getting together. And
this one, that one ties in with the next one, which is the Roswell UFO incident. Allegations that an alien spacecraft crashed near Roswell in New Mexico in 1947, and that the government covered it up. Also, that they've been reverse engineering that craft, and that's what's created the current day's technology.
Isn't that good? Yeah. Isn't that good? Because it ties in exactly with that movie, because that's what that movie promoted, where at the end they found the spacecraft so they could defeat this mothership UFO.
Yeah, by reverse engineering.
Yeah, by reverse engineering.
To take the shields down.
Yeah. But look, it's possible. Maybe there are aircraft out there that we can't explain. We don't know. We're not at that level of, top level security.
Yeah.
Right?
Not even David Grush is, and he's speaking on behalf of everyone trying to get them to believe aliens exist.
Yeah, what sort of alien? And maybe there are aliens, and maybe there's more land on Earth, and maybe there's other civilizations.
Maybe there's a galactic federation
we don't know about, and they're alien to us, and it's extraterrestrial. So that's a concept as well, that we're always taught. That extra territory is up there, and it could be on that planet, 4 billion, trillion miles away, or that one, and wow. And every day they're finding new stars and stuff, and could be out there. Look up there, everyone. Who has the technology to see what they see? They could tell you anything. They could have a telescope that looks back in time 4 trillion years, and we could tell how the history, everything happened through this telescope. Tells us everything.
I've got a
like
telescope.
A ball,
magic, shake it.
Yeah,
8 ball. I've got a telescope, like a pretty standard kind of one. But every time I've looked at, all I can see is the moon. That's the only thing that I can see that isn't a fucking plasma ball. Every time I look at Mars, I look at Saturn, I look at Jupiter, it's just a plasma ball.
Beautiful point.
What the fuck is that,
because
man?
Because I've got a Nikon P900.
So does Kamal.
You've got one as well, Kamal. And when we look at it, we see the same as you. And then online, the trolls, when we show what we're seeing, which my eyes actually see that too. If you look at this, the most twinkling star at night, you can see it's twinkling, and almost you'll think it's a helicopter at one point, and he goes, "No, that's
wow."
My son has said that. Is that a chopper? No, I said that's a star, and he goes, "No way." Then we started talking about how far are these stars and how far can we see, and with the telescopes. But yeah, you're right, because trolls say no, the Nikon P900 doesn't focus in properly to these stars, and that's why it's looking like it's doing this dancing of. And sometimes you almost see faces in these stars, don't you?
I'd love to go out into the bush.
Let's do that. Let's do that.
Get a big telescope and see if there's a difference.
Actually, I had a meetup that I was doing today. There was a flat Earth meetup in Parkdale, and I should have gone. I was just trying to do the both at the same time. So I think there would have been 20, 30 people. So let's do that. Let's find a location, or let's do, some experiments that we can.
I'd love to
share with the world from a southern hemisphere point of view of what we're seeing, and You know, because if you look at these stars, you can see the Big Dipper from America and you can see it from us, but they're just inverted. The star's the other way around. The what do you call it? The constellation looks opposite of us. So anyway.
Man, that's
that
very
one
true.
with the landing, the crash, and all. Yeah, I believed that too at one point, man. But what can belief is the enemy of knowing, as you know, Crow 777. There's a show like Crow 777 Radio. Look that up. Yeah, that's
Crow 777
what's
Radio.
his name? Not the Cray House. Sorry, I was thinking. What's his name?
Max Egan.
Mexican.
Max Egan.
Mexican, we call him, like
Mexican,
a Maxi Bond.
right,
Like a Maxi Bond.
Mexican.
He's good as well. Max Egan's good.
He had to flee, He's in
guy-
Mexico.
Yeah, that's
like Santos.
weird and, yeah, Santos is there as well, isn't he? I've looked at Mexico. It looks beautiful.
What's Crow 777? Because that does sound familiar.
Crow 777, yeah. So it's C with a double R, O, W, then 777. But he's taken some amazing footage of the moon.
Yeah.
And he's credited for
I'll put a thing up.
the lunar wave, where he's got some really good camera technology. But you zoom into the moon, and you can see this wave coming across every seconds or something.
Wow.
That's like waves. I'm talking wave like that. So you wonder, is it like the Bible says, water above, water below? Is that another above as below? But
I heard
crazy stuff, man.
Someone said that
there's a sequence. Sorry to interrupt you because I'm old and I'll
Go ahead.
forget
It
it.
must be a Billy
But there's
thing.
a resonance happening. But there's even if you look it up, there's a Schumann resonance.
The Schumann resonance, 7.83.
How come that's never brought up in any other science or any other?
And that's the frequency of the Earth.
Exactly. When they talk about climate change or these active, why is that never brought up to how that affects? Sorry,
True.
Can you,
No, it was lovely. With the that wave coming across the moon, I think I read a comment. It was like, this reminds me of like watching an old videotape where you see that sort of line coming through, or like a poor recording, and it was like, are we watching
Are you watching that as well?
Is it like a projection? Is it a hologram?
Is it? What is it? So I wonder. I don't know, but I love looking up where a lot of people don't. So great that you've got with your telescope. Let's do that.
We were in Port Arlington last week, and I was very upset that I didn't bring the P900 because you could see the CBD from where we were. And I was like,
wow, I wonder how many kilometers away that would have been.
I know what you mean.
And I was like, it was a very warm day, very hazy, lots of pollution, but you need conditions to be right. Like
you do, you got to be
perfect
lucky,
conditions.
don't you? Yeah, you got to be lucky and just
those crisp winter days
are the best.
They're the best.
Aren't they?
So maybe we should do something coming up soon in the next few months.
And I'm finding even March and to September are perfect times as well.
Let's do something.
What's happening is as the sun is now in different locations throughout the year. If you look at the Analema, it's moving.
So beautiful.
It's doing this thing. So even if I live in Chelsea. So if I look directly this way, which I try and look at the same location.
Yep. Pull that sucker.
Sorry, that's where the sun is setting in summer. Thank you for that.
That sucker.
The old Joe Rogan thing.
And but during the solstice period, as we're it's going back into this loop that's moving concentrically closer or from a ring point of view, you'll actually see different silhouetting happening behind the sun. So now you can see. I've actually caught from Chelsea Beach, where Ballarat is. That's like 100 kilometres away from Melbourne. There's a wind farm there. And because the sun was setting behind the wind farm, you could see it silhouetting every 20 or 30 windmills. Like one, I had to look up where it was. I'm like, did they just put new windmills in the bay? That's what I thought.
Yeah.
But they were like behind, like talking, sometimes you can see further than that.
Wow.
I don't know what I'm seeing. Is it the Grampians I'm seeing sometimes? How far on those right conditions can you actually see? Incredible.
Mate, that is something that I'd be keen to suss out with you boys.
And I've done that on a number of occasions, so it wasn't only one. Then they come up with refraction. Oh, that's why the Earth is refracting that. So it's not what you're saying, they're down behind the curve of the Earth, and they're just bouncing up now, so you can...
You're getting almost pretty clear images of windmills that are at that distance. Have you done the calculations?
What's refraction?
530 meters of Earth curvature over that
it's
distance.
refraction's
and
pulling
see the
up
shore of the land on the other side as well. So even even before it gets to that, and Port Ellington to where were you? You could see the CBD.
Oh, just by with the naked eye.
You could see 70 k's. Yeah. 60, 70 k's.
Yeah.
So that should have had, again, hundreds of meters of curvature, Earth curvature, geometric, physical curvature. Because if they're saying that's the horizon and that's as far as
you should only technically be able to see the top of the Eureka building.
That's a physical horizon. That means if you've got a boat and you're here and you get to that physical horizon, that your boat is now at a different. Like it's curving. It should be, shouldn't it? And then you go a bit more, and it'll curve again. It'll keep curving to go around a ball, because that's what you have to do to go around a ball, don't you? It would keep constantly curving. Because they call it the Sagitta point, or the Sagitta, people, I think it's Sagitta. But when they say you're, like in Australia, like we're here at this, here on Australia, but that's the top part for us, because the curve goes here. We're standing on this part. So let's do it here. If you're here, you're standing here, it should curve away from you from every direction, shouldn't it? Mm-hmm. So not just in front of you if you're going on a boat that way. You should look behind. There should be more curvature that way, more curvature that way. Because it's not about, we all talk about perspective, but it's not just about 3D perspective, which is what we're doing now. Because we know this floor is flat and level. We know the walls are level because that's how a plumb does it.
When you did a good job.
When you create a plumb and they're doing the building, everything's plumb.
Yeah, exactly.
Laser. Yeah, and that's how you do it.
Yep.
So that's a huge. That's why now when we're looking in this room, that this wall appears smaller than that wall there. So our vision, and when you go in a hallway, what's happening? It's compressing, and you go down a railway track, you'll see those lines are converging.
Yeah.
So that's 3D perspective. That's in the world, Euclidean geometry, they call it, in the world we live upon. But spherical geometry is like 5-point perspective, because it's you look at that 5-point perspective drawing, and it's a completely different thing.
Would you like me to look it up?
Yeah, if you want. It's what we should be seeing if the Earth was spherical. We should be
5-point geometry?
5-point perspective drawing, if you just want to type that.
5-point.
You've seen
I know I've gone a tangent.
Oh, it's exciting
stuff. We're all right, man. We're all right. This is the first time, and you're so close. We'll be able to do this
so
whenever,
what's
man.
happening here? What would happen?
This one here,
even the fourth one there, which is pretty cool. Because imagine this from a different scale. You're on an aeroplane, and everything would be curving away. You'd be saying you're that high, and a building there would be curving away, and if you could see another one, they'd be accounting for this anyway. So not only in linear, right? And you can do it differently, but what you're saying here is a different type of, it's called non-Euclidean geometry, because they're basing it on the principles of no. Eventually, let's say we had this table, and can we all agree that this table is level and flat?
My Theo made it. Hopefully, he did a good job.
Cool, beautiful.
Yeah.
And even the floor is. But if you had this table, and we're living on a sphere, and you made this table 4,000 kilometers long, what would happen is, let's say your table's here, it would actually be like that, wouldn't it? It'd go bang, you'd expect it to go over the curve. Like, literally...
If you make it,
flat.
flat.
Across like that is what would happen, because this is...
You'd give the Earth a hat, essentially.
Yeah, and if you didn't account for this curvature, and you could extrapolate that even to flights that take off from it.
Let's say... You know that thing that they're building in Saudi Arabia?
Yep, that long line. 100-kilometre building. Yeah.
They did say
What's going on with that?
They haven't accounted for the curvature of the Earth. Yeah.
He's just throwing oil money left, right, and centre, that guy.
And you know what? If a surface is not flat, you know what would happen to that ball right now? It would roll, wouldn't it? If this was tilted upwards slightly or that way, everything works like that. And that's, let's go and do a dive. Yeah, we could dive. Let's go.
There's one more, and then the next one is...
I want to hear these,
yeah. So the next, number 6 is the Illuminati. Belief in a secret society that controls the world events and controls governments.
That's huge, isn't it?
That's a big one. That's a big one. I've heard it from a lot of people in the last 10 years. People saying, "Oh, Illuminati this, Illuminati that." They link it with the cabal. Definitely a very big conspiracy theory.
Massive, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they even leave footprints everywhere.
And they do certain kind of symbolisms.
Currencies and even all of that, don't they? With the American currency, they're literally there and it's, they're illuminated. Yeah. But were they once illuminated? Like, what does illuminated mean? To see, to see, and then they went bad or something? Maybe there's two sides of them.
Were they the Freemasons as well? Is that linked in together?
I think they're not, they're...
Who the fuck
but maybe originally, even before the Freemasons, the illuminated ones, because light is a big thing, even with everything, isn't it? Even in
light and dark. It's the polar opposites.
That's right.
But you need each one, the yin and the yang.
That's right. So maybe they were, but there's definitely something worldwide group out there. Call them what you want, and even maybe Illuminati. Like if we know about this word Illuminati, is that really the one? Yeah, maybe there's other ones. It's like the Area 51, it's like the Epstein Island thing again. How many other secret groups, and I could run.
How many layers deep does it go?
There are. And it goes back to the
Jesuits.
For sure, and even
for sure,
the Malta and
the Knights of Malta.
It goes way back before even that.
You got
and
the
even
families.
Back to Babylon, I reckon, and Sumeria. Who knows? But there's some battle.
Sumerians.
Well, even biblically, is this battle? Is it the battle? Are these the remnants of the Nephilim who, came biblically to Earth and they became bad?
Their DNA.
And it's why God flooded the Earth again and chopped down all the tall
Younger
trees.
Dryas, impact theory.
Huge. That's why to be a conspiracy theorist, I think you're just, it's a bad word for it, isn't it? Because you're just trying to connect dots.
Conspiracy realist.
Dot connector.
Conspiracy realist.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
Absolutely.
Well, how many conspiracies have been proven? Like the next one. The next one is chemtrails.
There you go.
What have the Victorian government here, what have they been doing since 1960s? They've been doing cloud seeding.
They admit
they're so good at cloud seeding here, and it's in regulation, it's on the government websites, that the Saudis are now doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the Saudis are loving it. Where are they learning it from? They're learning it from Australians.
Absolutely. And the military use that. The military use that even in to assist them with the Vietnam War as well, didn't they? They made it rain, and I can't remember what the operation was called. Operation something.
Where they flooded all the
They did.
tunnels.
They made it rain for 3 months longer than it should have to try and defeat them and create the monsoon, extend the monsoon season. But that's a good point that you bring up about chemtrails.
Yeah.
Number one, I'll say, is no wonder why they say Melbourne has 4 seasons in one day, because maybe you guys are freaking controlling
Have you noticed the clouds? Have you noticed the clouds?
For sure,
they look so fake, bro.
I remember when I first told my son about that, he would have been like 2015, so when you first came across conspiracy theories. He's 31 now, so...
similar age.
Yeah, okay,
we're
cool.
33.
And that's my eldest son, and I remember one day I saw, we're in Sydney, and I saw this big trail, and they left a cross in the sky. When they do those big crosses, I don't know what that means. So it's like,
upside down crosses.
They've done them as well. And I said, look at that, Dad. And he's going, no way. Why would they do that? And he came up with a really good question. He said, well, if they do that to us, then they're doing it to themselves. They're killing themselves. And, to me, I had no logical answer
to that,
right?
Yeah.
To go, okay, then, that's freaky, but weather modification, definitely, it's huge money, huge
cloud
business,
seeding.
Huge
They're
business.
spraying so much stuff, and apparently, because I watched a reel on how the Saudis are doing it, they're pumping salt into the clouds.
Yes, so,
that's what they say anyway.
Sodium chloride, they say, but
barium and aluminium.
Yes,
as
correct,
well.
because that barium and aluminium is what they're doing in Victoria.
Exactly. Apparently,
that's
barium,
what they're doing here.
It makes the molecules bond up there, and then the aluminium gives it weight. I could have it the wrong way around, but it gives it the weight then to fall, right?
Yeah.
So then you're creating strong, heavy rainfall. And isn't it funny that you can go to the MIT. Massachusetts, always say it.
Oh, mate, I can't say it.
Technology,
Massachusetts,
right? MIT, and they actually have courses or degrees in climate change and geoengineering.
Climate change degree,
right?
Dude. Where can I sign up?
Geoengineering degrees on geoengineering. So we call it, chemtrails, this and that. They'll go, no, that's not true.
It's
but really, it's called
exactly.
Right? So they're really telling you the truth,
that's
aren't they?
The science.
So they'll do that, and then they'll fight for climate change, but they're changing the climate.
Yeah.
Where's the fucking logic in
and
that?
on my YouTube channel, which is Billy Z,
I'll put it up. I'll put it up on the thing,
I've got a video on there from, Skippy the Bush Kangaroo, that show.
Kangaruda.
Yeah, Kangaruda. And it was a video from like 1967 or, because that's when that show was around.
Yeah.
It was great, or this particular episode. And it's on there at Waratah National Park or wherever that was also a beautiful place. But then it wasn't raining, so then this professor comes in, the Rainmaker, the series is actually called. The Rainmaker comes in, and then little Sonny says, "Oh, how did you, what are you doing here?" And he goes, "Oh, yeah, we're going to make it rain." Explains cloud seeding, how they're literally in your face all the time.
Wow.
But back then, people weren't really conspiracy theorists, were they? There would have been some that knew and saw this. There's always been the end is nigh, those guys in the movies.
In the biblical times, like preaching to a tablet,
exactly.
And they're always right. Yeah. They're always right.
They're the right
but everyone's like, "You're a fucking idiot." They spit on him, throw tomatoes.
Don't they? Yeah, banish him from the city somehow. Yeah, but
look what they did to Jesus.
True.
Look what they did to Jesus.
Same.
Yeah.
They say that Noah was the first conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I love that. That's cool, isn't it? That
so
is
true.
cool. And I love it, meeting people that can say the word and they know about the Bible a bit because they've really inverted everything upside down thing again. When I was young, and I've said this on a few shows, but when I was young, you could say that God is real and aliens are fake, and everyone would agree with you. They go, that's general consensus in 1970s, right? But now, if you say God is real, it's an inversion of that. Now it's aliens are real, God is fake.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
And who's the alien? What's say? Oh, yeah, we could have been made by these aliens. They came to. Well, that's your God now. So you've replaced your God with aliens. So it's a very, I hope we dive into, the theology. As well at some
I'd love
point,
to. I've scaled it back from 20.
Cool.
I'm just going to do 10 now.
Go for it. Oh, no, don't. Are we going too long? Or should I stop talking? Yeah,
no. You're fine. You're fine.
Refine my answers a bit. Yeah.
Because I reckon we,
Kamal talking all the time,
yeah, that bloody Kamal, huh? Yeah, so the next one is actually the flat earth. But I was thinking of skipping that. And then we'll do it after, because the next two that I want is flat Earth.
Maybe
right?
everything will tie into that. So do that later if you want.
Yeah, I reckon.
Some of these will.
So we'll skip flat Earth. The next one's COVID-19.
Okay.
That's a mega one.
Massive.
That's like bigger than 9/11, I reckon. If you think about it, because they used 9/11 as all right, how much did we get away with here? Yeah. And then they go, all right, let's try to get away with the whole planet.
I agree. Yeah. And if you look at it from just the grand scale of the operation, like 9/11 affected a certain amount of people. America massively. Yeah. Sure, a lot of other people too, and millions of people died in Iraq. So I can't say, oh no, it didn't affect a lot of people.
It affected more Iraqis than it did actual Americans,
didn't it?
Yeah,
it killed millions of people for nothing, children and just innocent civilians. But when you go to terrible. COVID, they did the same.
Innocent people copped it, man.
Didn't they? It's like I was trying to separate, but no, it's the same, but at a grander level, grander scale. Because I think
globals.
Yeah, at a
globalist
scenario.
I did that one.
Everyone believes they live on a ball, so you can easily convince them. If they believe that, mate, they'll believe freaking anything.
Well,
right?
Yeah,
you live on a ball. Where's the proof? Oh, there's no real proof. Oh, you just got to trust the science again. Right?
Well, the flat Earth, that's the biggest conspiracy. That's even bigger than COVID-19.
Everything connects back to that. The control of where you live, man. Yeah. That's what, doesn't it? And even including where you live, your house.
Yeah.
What your eyes see. Trusting
your senses. The senses. I got it in the book here.
Knowing thyself. If you're trying
thyself, exactly.
You want to learn about who you are and the deeper thought, the feelings, thoughts, vibrations of oneself. How are you supposed to get started on that when you don't even know what you're standing on?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'll read a quote out of your book. In the Middle Ages, people believed that the earth was flat, for which they had at least the evidence of their senses. We believe it to be round, not because as many as 1% of us could give the physical reasons for so quaint a belief, but because modern science has convinced us that nothing that is obvious is true, and that everything that is magical, improbable, extraordinary, gigantic, microscopic, heartless, or outrageous is scientific.
Mm-hmm.
George Bernard Shaw.
Beautiful, isn't it? And these guys were like, scientists, philosophers. It's got the book's actually got a lot of quotes from scientists that were questioning. So they go, you know, scientists will all believe in the Big Bang Theory and the evolution, and no, not at all. And, you know, science is about knowledge, isn't it? And these guys had no proof of it. So to be an honest scientist, to be, you know, one that is really out there to understand nature and how it works, you're going to have to admit at one point, I don't know it all. I don't know. And a lot of, you know, these people are egotists and they just won't say that. And including the COVID people. Let's go back to that.
Yeah, let's go back to
right?
COVID, yeah.
Because that's a big one. And even then, you know, they didn't know, you know, like, masks are good and, you know, wear masks. Where's your mask? And, you know, they were brainwashed with that. 1 month before this, I've never seen masks being worn, have you? Like in public? And all of a sudden now you're expert on masks, expert on lockdown, expert on...
I went to Japan in 2018, right? And I bought a pack of masks, blacked out, just those standard...
Yep.
They look the blue ones, but they were black.
Okay.
People in Japan were wearing them if they were sick.
That's logical.
They'd wear
I've seen that, yeah.
Right? And I liked it because I'm just like, if I put this mask on, facial identification can't recognize me.
Yeah.
So I started doing that in 2019 when I'd catch the train and go into the city. The next year, everyone's wearing masks. And I was like, what the fuck? Everyone was wearing masks. They did this whole big campaign worldwide.
Well, a global virus, and going back to the global war on terror.
You know
what? No shit.
You know, so they were conditioning people with the mask thing for quite some time.
Universal Studios logo.
Yeah. Even a lot of, you know, even the 2012 opening ceremony Olympics. Have you seen go look at that. That is trippy as.
Is that the full, say, the thing in CERN where they... Oh, no, that's separate.
That's the CERN one. That's another one. That's a huge concern as well.
Concern, that's good.
But, is that opening ceremony?
Yeah. You will trip out over
this
in
London?
one because they literally had...
was cooked.
I've got that one, the third video.
That's the one?
The COVID-19. The virus.
Predictive nurses dancing and this big grim reaper with a big... syringe, it looked like. Look at this. Look at that hospital. Oh, they didn't. Right. That's not from there. But they were trying to. This video is trying to connect it. But look at it. Dancing nurses, and what do we get? Dancing nurses. So everything in this video that looks like this guy's trying to connect the dots.
NHS.
Yeah, see, it was actually had it in
National Health Scheme.
Yeah, look at all the pyramidal Illuminati stuff. Let's go see the background.
Wait.
Go look around the stadium.
Yep. Crawling demons. Lovely.
Kids in hospitals. Look in the background.
It's like the Monsters Inc. They're trying to steal the energy from the children, bro.
Yeah, the pyramids, I should say.
Notice the Chinese lady featured in the Wuhan.
The Wuhan clan.
The horses.
The Wuhan clan. Shit.
Crazy.
Just a coincidence.
But yeah, COVID-19 was huge.
Dude, we copped it pretty hard being in Melbourne, Victoria.
You know, Australia. One of the worst in the world because
we got locked down for how many days? 200 plus days. 260,
like
nearly a whole year.
Yeah. Just
we have
crazy.
5 kilometre radius. Danny Allen's telling you you're killing your grandma.
I know, and you had people agreeing with him, going, lock us down, give me more, Daddy, lock me down harder. What was that about? That was shocking. Shocking. 8 p.m. Can't go out of your house at 8 p.m. The virus is going to be out more. But you know what they had? The heroin injecting rooms still open. You can travel anywhere in Melbourne and go and... So does that mean if the cops pulls you over and you're going... They're going, you're out of your 5K...
Mate, I just need to inject some heroin.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to the city. It's like, I've got to do heroin. It's like, oh, okay, you go right along. Brothels were open.
Oh, the brothels were open.
Close the churches, close all the shops, close the people.
The bottle shops remained open.
And make them fight. Get the people fighting against each other. You saw that as well when it was like, just like... Far out. What am I watching? The way they'd come up to you. Where's your mask? You know, they'd come up to you right here to go. Where's your mask? Why'd you wear a mask? And I'm going. Why'd you come right up to me? Get away.
Yeah. Well, what about at the protests when you'd have those anti-people, like the
counter?
I know the counter
protesters wearing their masks and getting in the face.
Yeah, all disguised as well. You said before it was good for you.
That was good. It was good for them.
Well, now it's good for them because you see them in America watching some crazy videos. They walk into shops and steal whatever, and they're wearing those masks.
Those people are so brainwashed.
COVID, or are you doing it to
those
hide your
people are
identity?
so brainwashed, right? They were against the the freedom fighters essentially, right? But then now they're pro-Palestine, going to all the Palestine protests. I've noticed that, you know, a lot of those people. I'm kind of happy that they've jumped on board with that, but I wouldn't go to one because I've done my part with the other one.
You know, now just grab a tea towel and put on your head and go there and protest for something. Now, like, come on, man, you know,
they just need something to do.
Sorry, but that's what they're doing.
Yeah, they got no actual idea about what actually happened.
You're trying to dress like a Palestinian now by putting, you know, what is this? It's virtual signaling,
signaling. Yeah,
you know, it's just whatever the next thing is, and if there's something else next
week, Ukraine last year.
Exactly,
now it's Palestine.
That goes away. Palestine goes away. It'll be the next thing that comes along.
Palestine's been copping it since we were 12. We've known about Palestine. We've got Palestinian friend.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
He came here. The Australian government paid, I think, 150 to 200 grand in surgeries because the Mossad threw him into a burning tyre yard. IDF, Israeli Defense Force.
Wow.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
both funded by America.
Isn't it? And you wonder whether these other group, you know, even Hamas, I've heard, was funded by them, created by them. They create their own enemy. It's cool because then you control that narrative. You don't want a loose enemy just doing whatever you want. No, you want to control the enemy. And that's what they're good at. They're good at doing that, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, very, very good.
COVID-19, you know, what they did just sort of, you know, about the animosity and the hostility, and I mentioned it briefly, is, you know, it's that experiment where they can get, you know, black ants and red ants, and they put them in the jar and they'll survive on their own corner and they'll live, and you put a bit of food and they'll go get the bit and bring it back to the other colony. But you get that jar and you shake it up and they'll kill each other. Every ant goes against every ant. It's like, you know, and that's what happened. They shook it up. They've done these experiments with mice and with all sorts of creatures, and we're just a creature.
They've probably got artificial intelligence telling them what to do now, man.
You know, yeah, who knows? Satan, they just listen to this message in their head, you know. I don't know, it's an evil freaking world. It's crazy that we could even imagine. Like when I heard that there was the Church of Satan, and Victoria has the most Satanists in the whole world, in Australia. That's crazy. Google it. Jesus. Yeah, everything I say, just Google it, man, to verify. You don't have to keep doing it, but I'm saying to listeners, I wouldn't be saying if my eyes haven't seen this. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. And Victoria has the highest amount, and we were the most locked down. So is Dan Andrews part of them? And who are these guys that go to the Church of
Dan
Satan?
Andrews just got out of there.
They say, don't take your children to church. It's brainwashing. But they've got their church of...
Don't take your children, just vaccinate them.
Yeah. Do an experiment now that they're trying to get 700 children to participate in a new vaccine. And parents are taking it. Really?
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
But they wouldn't take their dog there if there was a new experiment for their pet, would they? You know, my poodle, oh no, you know, you take your children.
Sacrifice my children instead.
Yeah, far out, man. Just the mentality. And they're evil. A lot of people are evil. And, you know, I think that's, as we said before, the biggest trick, you know, is like telling people it doesn't, you know, the devil doesn't exist.
Yeah, literally. Anyway. All right, let's dive into the flat Earth theory, the biggest conspiracy of all time.
The biggest, and it's good. I like this. You know why? Because now with all the other ones, because that's where I was at. I was at like at research 9/11 and the moon landings and, you know, everything. And you know, that was I think it was in 2014 that someone, one of my Facebook friends said, I was posting a video of the ball Earth, and, you know, I was right into that. So, you know, I enjoyed the heliocentric model because the Greeks invented it. And we proved that, you know, heliocentric means sun in the middle, the sun being centered, and we are, you know, focus around the sun. Yes. The sun becomes the god of everything because without the sun we die. But then that's what they were focused on. So heliocentric, and I was right into that model.
If you think about it, sorry to cut you off. If you think about it in a solar system kind of way, how special is the Earth? It's like the Garden of Eden, right? It's literally the Garden of Eden.
It's the only place with such beauty and nature.
I think the Earth in our apparent solar system, who knows, in this
whatever you call
system,
it,
is the most important thing. It's more important than the sun.
Yeah,
I reckon. Because
you're right.
The sun is just
beautiful.
The sun is a ball of gas.
Yeah.
And when we look up into the stars, so they say, who knows? Yeah, I'm just going based on whatever. We look up into the sky and we see thousands of these, right? But we still haven't discovered one Earth. and they've been looking for forever.
That's part of the trick.
The Earth is so.
I'm trying to get into flat Earth.
It's like a diamond. It's like
you're right, but that's part of the. I think you're going to get there with this. Okay, I hope so.
Convince me. That's the
because this is a big thing. Trying to what we do is we confuse two models together. When we hear about flat Earth, we're now going, oh, there's a solar. The Earth's flat, but there's still a solar system with stars millions and millions of miles away, and the sun. Oh, it's a gas body. It's 93 million miles away, and we know that. And during
the Goldilocks zone,
the average distance of the sun is 93, because I reckon it changes through perihelion and aphelion, meaning we get closer and further to the sun through the year, right? But now you're trying to imagine, oh wow, so flat Earth ties in with that model? No, just forget about what you were taught. That rather than us on a ball, the sun being heliocentric in the middle. And that's what they first believed with the heliocentric model. It was very simple.
Yeah.
Back in the, 1450 or 1500, when Copernicus and all those guys postulated the heliocentric model, they postulated that the sun is here and the Earth goes around the sun and the moon goes around the Earth. And in the stars, they really didn't have much answers for that. They were sort of but that was a very simple model. That the sun's in the center, but now it's changed. Now it's gone to the point where the sun is flying through the universe. Us chasing the sun, doing all these crazy speeds, and the stars tagging along, and because people started to ask questions along the way. Well, how come then? And not only people, but even astrologers along the way were going, okay, well, how come we do see the same stars every night? So so you got to, as I was trying to say, we've got to separate their bullshit model of being this universe with millions of stars and they're millions of miles away, and there could be other life on these things, to a model where a fixed stationary Earth may be founded into the foundation, like bottom level, man. We don't, picture a bottom level thing, like your teeth impregnate into your, like if you look at the Hebrew depiction of that's how they had it. They had like these pillars that were fixed into the ground, and the Earth was like just part of this, embedded into it like this, and just flat with a dome going over it. And we don't know what's
like
above
a snow
that.
globe.
Like a snow globe, pretty much, is how every religion, the Mayans, the Greeks, every culture, the Japanese, the ancient Aboriginals had the same concept of this flat, motionless Earth with two brothers at both ends holding up this dome or a structure. Because you got to have, with one of the questions you asked before about the vacuum of space and how is that possible. And flat Earth's a really deep topic, because not only, number one, it brings all these other topics together, but number two, you've got to start thinking differently about this world. You're not going to go, those stars are billions and billions of miles away. Like when you look through your telescope, you go, wow, they're pretty close. When you see the sun passing over you during the, you're going to go, okay, well, am I spinning 1,000 miles an hour to create sunlight? Or is the sun actually going past me as it appears? Is the moon passing me or am I spinning 1,000 miles an hour standing upside down on a ball? That's a big thing to question. And that's where I went. So even though, I'll try and go back a little bit.
Yep.
Because all these other questions that you asked me, I was like, I knew about all of them. You'd go, yep, no worries. Lied about 9/11, lied about the moon landings. I'd agree with them. But then when I got to flat Earth, that's what I was going to say. I used to post a lot of things. And then one day I posted a picture of a ball, which I thought was a real photo of our Earth from space. And then a friend's gone, nah, man, the Earth's flat. You've got to look into that. And point being, I already knew about every other conspiracy, but this one I was like, nah, no way. And I argued against it. For me, I was started at trying to prove it was a spinning ball. I was trying to prove the heliocentric model.
No shit.
Which is what a lot of people do. Like, I wanted to debunk flat Earth. It was like, what? These people are freaking crazy to believe that, all of the scientists around the world could lie to us about where we live.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they've been doing for many, many years. And,
They do lie to us about nearly
everything.
else.
So is this one, but I resisted, and then one day I had to go, hang on.
That's where I'm at.
Sit on the fence,
yeah.
and I'm just going to be honest with myself. What proof have I got that can prove that we live on a spinning ball?
Yeah.
And I didn't have any. So I started watching both sides of the debate. Watching people saying, yeah, it's a ball, definitely. Why would they lie? And all those guys. And here's some fake photos of the Earth. And I had to, trust NASA again. The people that I don't believe in their moon landing, but now I'm trusting them for your ball science and all that.
Ball science.
Yeah, it's like bullshit. Yeah. So it's very, I then had to, as I said, started to look at both sides. What evidence is there for a ball?
Yeah.
Well, really, I'm trusting other people with their photos. They're trying to tell me gravity, but I can explain gravity in many other ways compared to Newtonian or Einsteinian
gravity. Sandra Bullock did a movie on gravity?
Yeah, they, put that out there at a perfect time to really, so they probably knew this debate was coming as well. Because it has to. People were eventually going to ask themselves, are those photos of space real? Or I don't know whether it was leaked on purpose by the good guys to make us open our freaking eyes.
Yeah. But
then you've got to go, well, if it is a ball, how far is the curvature? That should be the first thing. So let's put it to let's try and simplify it. Because if we're going to start to go, how far are the stars? Why are we looking up there to prove here, right? We should be able to do this
here.
Prove the ground. At what distance does it curve is a big question, shouldn't it? Because that's where the topic really came into discussion when Pythagoras or Aristotle 2,500 years ago, they claimed that he was at the beach and he watched a ship disappear, and it disappeared hull first into the distance, and he assumed that was because of the sphericity of the Earth, that it was spherical. And that's where this whole debate... So okay, we've got this guy 2,500 years ago. He didn't have a telescope, didn't have a P900, didn't have a telescope.
Probably had a Savlaki, maybe.
But yeah, I know, and he's at the beach at like 50, 60, 70 years old trying to see a boat go... and that's what our math came from. Then we had Eratosthenes, who then had the shadow experiment.
Exactly.
And in Egypt, and he, another guy in
Alexandria.
Alexandria and Cyrene or some, two locations. They measured the shadows, and you can measure shadows. Well, I could put shadows here, and does that mean this table is, look at that shadow on that cup compared to the shadow on, it depends what the light is as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're assuming a distant sun, it's going to be further than a local sun. So they didn't even know how far the sun was.
Yeah.
So to come up with all these they had to make assumptions.
Yeah,
basically, even back then. But they didn't think they lived on a ball back then anyway. They didn't know... Sorry. They believed they lived... Some began to believe they lived on a ball, but they didn't think they went around the sun. They still thought the sun went around them. So that's still geocentric now. So now we go from heliocentric... This is what the current beliefs. It's geocentric, here being the Earth centered
around the universe,
which is like what you said. It seems like everything's focused around us, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, we're probably the most is happening on Earth. If there is aliens, they're still observing us. We're the best entertainment in the galaxy. You know what I mean? Like, look at us. We got Married at First Sight. We got all these ridiculous years going on.
I know, Sex in the City and all these shows that can just sway women to.
We're probably the biggest drama.
Big career women now, just from a show.
Yeah.
That wrecked so many, didn't it?
Now social media, next level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we're at the next level of that,
exactly,
right? Man. Insanity.
Yeah.
And that's what they've done, and they've turned around, the world. So coming from that point of view, they made people... Back then, every culture on the Earth believed that the Earth was flat and we were at the centre of the universe and the sun went around us just as it appears. But it was only through mathematics that they changed everything. They now started going, the sun is this far and, Venus is that far. And because it's that you never measured Venus, you never physically measured the circumference of the Earth either, but they came up with math before they had the physical proof for distance. So now they could easily go, well, if the Earth is this radius and Venus is this far, that means the sun is this big, 400 times bigger than the Earth, don't they say? Or 400 times distant than the moon and all these, but they look the same size up there. But our eyes see they're the same size. But they could come up with these parallax thing that, and that was a huge part about it. I think the biggest secret to unlocking flat Earth is to understand how our eyes work. And I sort of touched on that before with 3D perspective to 5D.
Yep.
And, you know, the biggest thing is to understand that when you are, like, let's say you're at the beach and you're seeing the water there, what am I seeing? I'm seeing a straight horizon, a horizontal line at that point. And then I'm seeing the water ramping up, don't you? You see the water appear to go upwards and the sky appear to come downwards, don't you? And then everything, and you see that in a long hallway or a highway as well. You're driving down the highway, you see a point, everything's coming to a point. Or even if you're standing on top of a building, you're looking down. Our eyes are going to do this. So they hijacked our eyes, our perspective, for curvature in a way. Yeah, because even Aristotle, he didn't understand how his eyes worked, but then apparently, and I don't believe a full narrative anyway, that the Greeks did this to an I think even history is a freaking lie too.
Bit of a sham. Well, it's his story, right?
Isn't it? His story.
Give me 1 sec. I'm just going to turn the aircon off because it's bloody... It's freezing here.
Yeah, you cold? Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Perfect.
We didn't actually talk about one of the more recent so-called conspiracies. And I know a lot of the OGs are looking into that now, but the whole Tartarian...
Tartaria is massive. Yeah, I touched on that in my book as well, briefly. But just to put seeds, I didn't want, I didn't want to like convince anyone of anything. Actually, just read it and just learn from it, just like question it.
Got some notes here on Tartaria. The Tartaria can. Sorry,
but that's
hang
huge
on.
too, isn't it?
We're gonna.
Massive.
We'll maybe come back to that.
We'll come back to Tartaria. I've got it ready
but,
though.
Just on flat Earth, if we can just sort of go the physical aspects of what can we actually prove.
Yeah, done.
What I can prove is that water is level at rest. So this, look at this. Let's put it and let it rest. So it's not moving around and there's no other force acting upon it. You'll see that's level. And if I then get this bottle, and I'll make sure the lid's on, but I'll do it this way, it's going to find a level again as well. That line there is level. And you can build with this. You can actually build and measure level, and they do that. That's part of the building process. Water level is a huge factor.
We use those hoses, the clear hoses, when we're doing bricklaying work.
Yeah, in Greek, there's a Greek guy that Axilotti, something like that. It's called. Yeah, but that's the hoses definitely. You can do that over a grand distance, and you'll find the two level points at both locations.
Exact level. I've done that for about 20 to 30 meters.
Likewise, my dad was a builder, and we said you do fencing. Long fence, and we'd use that.
That's how you'd make it plumb.
Because you can't have a level long enough, like those physical levels. So you go, what can I use? And water is always level. And that is the biggest thing. So then you go, okay, water is level in this bottle, as we just proved, and you did too. Is it level in? It's level in a glass. Is it level in a sink when you leave it around? Yes. Is it level in a bathtub? Is it level in a swimming pool? Yes. Is it level in a lake? Yes. Is it level at the ocean? Oh, no, it curves around the Earth. 70% of the Earth, they say, is covered by this liquid called water that is always 6 level, but it happens to just wrap itself around a ball that's spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, that's flying around the sun at 66,000 miles an hour. As the sun flies through the universe at 500,000 miles an hour, as the universe expands at 1.2 million miles an hour as well.
Big numbers.
Like crazy. But this water's level. It never moves. So can we prove Earth curvature? This is like, really for anyone listening, even for yourself. What have you done? What experiment could you do to prove the curve then? If you're sitting on the fence on this topic, what would you be?
The only, I guess, experiment that I have taken... that I've participated in that makes me, or keeps me on the fence, is that I went from Santiago, Chile, right, which is in South America, and I flew to Melbourne, Australia.
Okay.
Right.
Direct flight, or
I can show you on that, but that's I don't know. Should I bring it? You're just gonna break it.
But no. And what was? Did it go direct flight from?
So it was a direct flight. Yep. It was 16 hours, right?
Okay. Cool.
And this is what I'm trying to. I want to put the globe there, and I want to put it next to the flat Earth map, so we can kind of give it a bit of perspective.
Good idea. Yeah.
My sister bought that for my birthday, so
right.
I don't know if my sister's a part of the Illuminati and she's trying to brainwash me.
What if you just pull it up on the screen here, Google Earth or whatever?
Oh, yeah, even lovelier. Support Google, bro.
That's it. Do it. And you'll find just go Gleason map. So you'll find the flat Earth map on there as well, or what's been touted as the
All right, so we've got Google Maps.
My mistake earlier, I mentioned the AE map, but that's the lunar reflection
that
type
still
of thing.
becomes as an equidistant, azimuthal equidistant map is what AE stands for. But even understanding that is a hard thing to do, because you know how if you take a normal map, like even a street map as we used to use in the old days, every grid was a square, a perfect square with 4 right angles, right? We know that. Then they place another map, another grid. Everything's based on grids. Cartesian grid system, it's called. But if you look on this map here, and maybe we can try and show, bring that up there, you'll see that there's no squares on here. All of these splay outward, don't they? So why is Australia so big? Because it splays out, and maybe it has to do that to project itself. And it's like my hand; it could be this big, but if I splay it, it's now this big. What's the actual size? Is it accurate? Is it perfectly? I don't think so, because when this guy did it, it was 1892. It's a patented map. This map here. But how did he measure everything? Did he?
Yeah.
Did you measure everything before you brought?
That's why even Google Maps, like cartography, has been messed with for,
hasn't it? Yeah.
Start of time. Like
Well
even
done.
this,
Yeah,
like we don't know if this has
absolutely.
been messed with
Absolutely.
just slightly.
It's a concept. And all it shows is that the sun could orbit around the Earth and come back around again and come back, lie at the top, just like this. And that's what this map is showing, and the moon does too. And they can measure. It makes a lot of sense, even with the analemma. You can see in the southern hemisphere, or on this side of the equator, if you like.
Grab that.
Oh, sorry.
Pull it up. Pull
But
to
even
you.
so, what I'm saying is around here. Let's call this. That's North Pole, Polaris, the star directly above that. Would be the star, the North. Oh, sorry, the North Star. Thanks, man. And where are we? It doesn't like this surface, does it? Or have I got that back there?
Is it working?
No, I've killed.
Where's the mouse? Oh no, it's it. Move.
Oh, there it is. It seems not to want to go on.
I need to get another mouse pad.
Yeah. But what you'll see is the sun. Imagine the sun circuiting, and the mouse isn't sort of.
Maybe the batteries are.
Maybe the batteries are. Yeah, my mouse is doing.
Hello
that
there.
the
Do you
other
need
day.
another double A? What's the go? Should I get one now? Should I call Shah?
That's all right.
Yeah,
Just
that's
do
what
the
I
old
do.
the
That's
old
what
trick.
That's
kind
what
of
I do. Give it like
Hello
15
there.
seconds of life there, you know.
I've done this 1,000 times and it still works.
Yeah, I was doing that all last week.
This
and I
Aussie
finally
Planned
made it.
obsolescence.
This Aussie bloke puts them in the freezer
I've
for a
seen
day
that
and
as
then
well.
pulls it out and it
I've
works
seen,
again.
No, it's not working. Yeah, I guess you're. Should
Hello
I?
there. Use this one. It's connected to the
master
USB.
Here we go. So let's picture that, you know, this Earth is flat on the ground, just like this map we've got here.
Yep.
So these are the northern hemisphere.
Yep.
And the southern regions. So what's happening is during their summer in America, or the people in the northern hemisphere, this region, the sun is circuiting like this. And over the period, it goes out to the equator. So imagine a line here, and there is a line somewhere here.
Yep.
This is where the equator is, and that's why any country within these regions always get beautiful tropical weather.
Yep.
And then they're having summer, we're having our winter. As it orbits through the year, and it does this, and then it gets wider and starts doing this circuit. And then we're having our summer because it's passing over here.
And they're having their winter.
They're having their winter, and it comes back again, and it keeps doing this, and it keeps winding out. And when they measure this, it forms an analemma. That's what I was going to say before. So what they realise is here, it does at number 8, which is what an analemma is. You've probably seen that when they take a photo of the sun. It's beautiful, isn't it? Once a day, I think they do it, or once a
once a day at the same time, every day for 365
and it forms a
days.
Beautiful number 8, but you'll see it's wider out here than it is here. And that shouldn't happen on a globe. If this is a ball, and with equal, you wouldn't have an 8 with a wider bottom loop, if you like. Should be equal.
Yeah, like an infinity sign.
Like an infinity sign, exactly. What is the sun? Infinite. That's why I believe, it's an infinite. The Chinese knew about this. The sun is infinite. And a lot makes sense when you start to look at flat Earth and question, question the maps. So can you bring up a photo? Just type photo of Earth from space. So because really, it's 2024.
Before we do that, can I show you the flight path that I went on?
Thank you.
No worries. So
and let's track
this
that.
This is a Malakia. I didn't do that.
Sure.
Right. My flight did this. It went down through here, and then I went this way.
So
I went there, right? Okay. And then I went up through to Melbourne. So
where did he go?
Apparently, going straight takes longer.
He could have just easily just run around the rim.
Yeah.
Around.
So that's what I'm trying to figure out, because I looked out my window on the fucking plane, right?
It's ice for.
And all I could see was ice.
Are you serious?
All I could see was ice. Everything was just white, dude.
Do you know for how long? Do you remember?
For this part. So it showed me,
In terms of hours,
I went through Drake's Passage, right? I went through Drake Passage, and then it was like this.
Because it's quicker to go
That's
below,
what they were saying.
like through the curve, under the curve.
I know, I'm trying to...
It did that.
But that's not... that's not...
It took me 16 to 17 hours to do that. Apparently, that was because I asked the flight attendants, why are we going this way?
Yeah.
Instead of going over the ocean.
Okay, what they say?
They go, it's quicker, it's safer in case the plane crashes. We crash on
ice and then just eat each other like the movie.
And I was just like, look, I was kind of petrified of going over the Pacific Ocean, because I'm like, what, MH380? If this one drops in the Pacific, I'll be fucking rooted. 370, sorry. But doesn't that seem fucking way longer?
It's a very good question. And how fast was the plane going?
The plane was going at approximately 900 kilometers an hour.
How do you know anyway?
Because the screen says it.
Exactly, that's right.
That's all I know. I was going based off the screen.
A lot of people have done some great, investigation into this and the flight times. And there's a guy who wrote a book.
You can put that back over there. So
Eddie Elmacant. He wrote a book called 16 Emergency Flights That Prove Flat Earth, because a lot of these flights they take, as you said, there's discrepancies. Why are you going from there to there? And there's a lot of different factors to consider when we're trying to work out flight times, and even flight controllers. No, I mean even flight controllers and even flight controllers. It's a complex. They're not just taking in the plane speed and the distance, they're taking in the wind speed up there. Have you heard of jet streams?
Oh yeah, the bees use them. The bees use them to travel.
Bees use them. They've used them in hot air balloon. They get up to a certain thing and they get into this thing that goes 300, 400, 500 kilometers per hour. And there's a website. Do you mind bringing up this website?
Yeah, of course,
This will make a lot of sense.
What's the website?
It's called Bob Wins. You probably won't find it on...
Oh, no. Are we heading into...
Bob Wins, the Flat Earth map?
Cool. What are you using? What engine? Google or...
This must be...
Because they're showing you a bit of stuff. Okay, cool. So at the bottom menu, at the bottom right-hand...
I'll piss this off.
Which
Google
one?
Maps.
If you want, yeah.
Yep.
So see what's happening here. Okay,
wow.
So this is so go to the menu at the bottom here.
Yep.
Like this part here. And then it'll show you different projections. So if you go to the projection one, this part here, projection, and then choose the globe. This is on a globe, what they reckon. This is how they reckon all the trade winds work on Earth. Spin the ball around if you want. Give it a spin. Give it a spin.
I'll put it on
Australia.
Yeah,
look at it. So see how they reckon this is all the winds, and they know to go this way. But look at this one's going that way, and look, it's doing all this crazy shit, basically. Go on azimuthal.
Yep.
Projection. This is a flat Earth map. This is the map you're seeing here.
Oh, wow.
Right? See?
Azimuthal.
Look, azimuthal. Bob, yeah.
That's the same as the flat. That's exactly the same as the flat Earth map. Australia looks like a little kuradi rectangle.
Exactly what it is. Exactly. And you know what? I don't reckon we know. How did they in the 1880, they went around cartographers. Was it Joseph Banks? No, Banks was the botanist. Who was the guy? Matthew Flinders, I think, was a bit was a cartographer as well.
Big pubs, Matthew
You know,
Flinders.
yeah, exactly.
Get pissed,
you know,
mate.
Yep. But how did he go his boat and then go into land occasionally? How did you measure exactly the shape of the Earth? Like, really? Anyway, who knows what shape?
What was that in 1800s?
Point being, if you look in the outer circuits, where Australia is, look at the way the wind goes. But look at the inner; it's going a different direction. So do you want to zoom in on that?
So just from here, it
scroll
goes.
in with your mouse.
You can scroll in.
I think you
with your mouth.
No, please not. Not while I'm here.
Fuck no. They're beautiful mics. I don't want to destroy them.
See how the winds are going easterly or westerly on that one, and easterly. Yeah, so
there's Australia.
Okay, cool. See the outer winds in this.
Oh no, that's not Australia. That's fucking. There's Australia.
That's Australia. But look at the way the wind's going this way.
All the way there.
The jet streams.
Yeah,
and look at the way on the inner part it's going this way. So a lot is happening, and it's very. That's why I said flat Earth is deep. But you know that there'll be something that you'll hear in this research called the Coriolis effect. Mm-hmm. You know, where they said, you know, that cyclones spin in different directions because of the Earth's spin. And look, you can see it here working on a flat Earth. So with the jet streams, they're very complex, and that's what I was going to say. Look at this jet stream;
it goes all the way here.
But what's going quicker, there, Billy? The outside rings or the inside?
Well,
wings?
if there was an ice wall around here,
what's going quicker though? Look at the flow. Of this one
they're going so quick. The ones,
going,
the North Pole ones, the ones that are in the middle. Only this one's going quick, but this one's in a whirlpool kind of effect.
Crazy. So that could be the cause of it.
But just look how quick this one's going. This is the whole bottom end of Australia.
So you know what I reckon occurs, not what I reckon, you know, just through the research I've done, is I reckon, you know, you'll see, you know, when you drive a boat through water and you just look at the wake behind you and you'll see it creates a vortex like this, right?
Yep.
That could create, you know, so
this is
as
on 10
the sun
HPA.
orbits us, the sun leaves a wake behind it, I believe, and creates an influence to everything around it. Wouldn't it? It's going through the ether, this path of, we don't know, it's like
just pumping out energy, right?
And just vortexes behind. Have you seen those videos?
The owl?
You know, an owl? Ooh, I love that.
It's incredible.
Yeah,
well done.
True
that trips me right out when I see that one. It's like...
They don't need any fuel.
Was that through bubbles? They did it through fine bubbles. Like
was it? Yeah, I thought it was
those owls
water spray.
Water spray.
Yeah.
Incredible.
They're onto something, those owls.
Aren't they? And that's why
they're on the $100 note.
Illuminati, you know, because if you're like just vision and I don't know, it's very...
The wise owl. Always
depicted
as wisdom.
I went to visit one night, man. You know, first night I had a magpie. And middle of the night, this magpie walked into my office. The door was open.
Go the pies.
My garage. Yeah, I know. That's why we won. But then it just stayed in my office for 2 hours. I think I did a video, like I caught some footage, and it like stayed. And then the next night, an owl came, and I heard this noise. I thought, is that a possum? I went outside, and it was like this big white owl. It must have been that big, man.
Wow.
Freaky look, and he flew away just like straight. I scared him. I don't know why, you know, just obviously just seeing a human, and he just, and you could hear the wind, just the flaps. They're beautiful creatures. So, but that video that you just said with the owl going through and creating a vortex is just so fascinating. And isn't that what we're seeing here? So how fast can a plane go? And there's a channel called Jeranism, and his channel name's Jeranism. Great content, and he.
Vortexes.
Yep.
Wait till the next camera angle.
Wait till they get front on,
Bubbles.
But it's through a mist they would have done it, wouldn't
they? They had to, Yep, there we go.
Look at it, and now look at the way these bubbles are going faster than the other ones, and you know, there's a lot to question.
This almost looks like it's a torus field effect as well.
Isn't it just beautiful?
Yeah.
There's so much to this world, and I think that's what happens when you start to get into
hang on.
Flat Earth is like overused concept, but it's good because now it's just so like we're into mainstream now, so we're not going to change the world. Yeah, that's is beautiful. The one. That's just gorgeous. Look what's happening to the speed of this,
like a toroidal field
compared to the outer fields, and just like there's so much.
It looks like its eyes as well, like an owl face.
Yeah. Eyes and a nose.
That's weird, man. Well, if you looked at the toroidal field of a magnet, type that in.
Yes.
Toroidal field of
with
a
ferrofluid.
Ferrocell,
What's
Is that what it's called?
what's that
Theosophy.
Yeah.
Theosophy.
Theosis. What's his name?
Oh man, I always get his channel wrong.
What's his slave name?
Toroidal solenoid magnetic.
Go images. Just go images.
Yeah, just go images. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when they
isn't that how they try to make
just type
CERN?
ferrocell?
Field of a magnet. Yeah, that's
Ferrocell.
Ferrocell magnet.
Yeah, just type ferrocell magnet. Ferrocell magnet. Yeah, and it should show those ones. Yeah, look at that one, the third one.
Yeah,
and the fourth.
That's
and
exactly like the owl.
Magnetic field and that beautiful, like the flower of life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, wow, I've got that
even
tattooed on my fucking on my neck.
See the third one as well. Third row.
Yeah.
Fourth image. That one.
Yeah.
Check that out. And have you seen the Flat Earth map in Sydney? That Flat Earth Park?
No.
In Sydney? Type Flat Earth Park. Yeah,
Flat Earth
I'll
Park
jump.
in
Yeah.
Sydney.
And this is sort of part of the research of just questioning really, why is this connection? Why does this beautiful patterns occur around the world? Yeah, so look at that
Which
one.
one?
Sorry, second row, third image. That. Look at that.
That's in Sydney.
That's in. See, I've been there. I took a good video of there, and inside there's a flat
The
Earth
Daily
map.
Mail. The Daily Mail.
Man, yeah.
Where's this in the CBD?
I wonder if they've got my freaking video. It's had like millions of views because it's been shared with so many people as well.
Look at that.
Where is this?
This is
there's
in
so many
Sydney,
ads.
Darling Park in Sydney, it's called.
Okay.
And there's a flat Earth park with water. It shows the water containing level and ice ring around it.
What's in the middle there? Is there
It's
like
an
an obelisk?
obelisk, with a bird at the top,
No way.
Wouldn't it be funny if there was an owl at the top, But
Sneaky
inside
bastards.
this building is amazing because if you go back now to that other tab, you've got Flat Earth mapping. Yep. Those guys there, we stood there as well.
Oh yeah.
Surprised it never, but they got a Flat Earth clock inside on the wall of that building. And then if you go in there, the ceiling has got like a firmament covered like a dome. With
Wow.
all the stars and the zodiac
Just so they can be
creatures,
like,
there's Zod in there as
laugh at
well.
everybody.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to see who designed that building.
Because that Zodiac is Zor, isn't it? The Zor, the
Zodiac.
animals in the sky.
Yeah, Zor.
Like zoo.
Yeah.
Zoo,
Zugla.
But all that's wrong. So that second row there, that's the second row, that's that second image on the second
but
row.
pancake.
That's fake. No flat earther believes that we're flying.
Do they
through
do that
space.
to make everyone look like a fucking idiot?
Yeah, like the water would fall off the all that.
Was this the Flat Earth Society, like the official Flat Earth Society that came out with this image?
I think that makes sense because no one depicted this stuff in the 1800s.
What about the United Nations fucking flag?
Yeah, isn't it funny? And not only them,
UN
even
flag.
all of them.
Mm-hmm.
The UN flag is.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that not?
Yeah, and many
Gleason's
agencies.
map?
So if you look at the US military, how many military agencies use
NOAA, NOAA.
US Gleason map, and then if you I don't know what
UN
you can
flag,
type.
Gleason's map. Yeah, all right.
Just go Gleason map and then military maybe after it, and you'll say, I think there's a good meme there. This one here, right, that left of that. Might be this one. It shows you all the different agencies that use that. Like,
Is that a YouTube video? No, it's just an image.
Just a,
It's some kind
you
of
can maybe crop the sound on and he'll. I don't know.
with the sound.
That was created by demons for the purpose of deceiving mankind to control them with pseudoscience.
And look at the United Nations, one of the
World Health Forum.
I know.
This one,
They got the snake going through there
So
as well.
there's the International Maritime Organization,
that's the one.
same.
Sorry, I
The
had a
UN,
mental blank,
International Civil Aviation Organization, flat. International Maritime Organization,
And many more, actually.
NASA snakes.
Along with Darwinian
Lies.
You know what we need to input into this podcast is the animations of the sun and the moon traveling.
Yes, that would
over.
be, that'd
That
be
really
cool,
helped me
wouldn't it?
visualize how it sort of is supposed to
On
be.
the heliocentric or the
Geocentric.
geocentric?
Yeah.
I think, and it's good to know both, isn't it? That's why I think we know more about the heliocentric model than most.
We grew up with it,
believers.
yeah.
But we've researched both sides of it, and you want to look at both sides of the
So
argument.
Helios is the sun.
Helios
That's
in
why
Greek.
it's like
That's what we say, the Ilios.
The Ilios. Yeah. And that means that everything is
heliocentric.
revolving around
so
the
we
sun.
put him in the center, and it kind of,
yeah.
even from a religious aspect as well. God. God.
It's always
the
a
Son of
masculine
God, the Son of
energy,
God.
definitely.
So now they've, that aspect. Even the Son of God walks on water.
Yeah.
They said that. But if you Google, just do that. Google sun walking on water. Just type it.
Sun is in
sun.
like
That's fine. Yeah, walking on water, because you'll see. Then go images. Look at that at the beach, and only a straight, flat level surface can create specular highlight, like a specular reflection, I should say, that's occurring. If that was curved, you'd get a curve. So you can't create perfect reflections on a curved surface. You might have gone to those clown things, and they've got those mirrors that are curved and makes it look smaller, and the other one makes it look bigger if it's convex or concave. So only a flat surface could create a perfectly flat level. So did these guys, like, look at that, Son of God, all you did was sun walking on water, did they try and merge a bit of their pagan beliefs into religion as well, right? I don't know how far in Christianity, whether you've looked at, question these things, but you've got to question everything, I think. And if someone tells you not to, question it even more. So that's my motto.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Billy, what's that term for when the sun is behind the clouds and you have that dispersion of the rays?
Crepuscular rays.
Crepuscular rays.
Crepuscular.
So that one, when I saw that, it blew my mind.
I couldn't even pronounce. How do I spell that? Crepuscular.
CREPU.
CREPU.
SC.
ULAR.
Crepuscular rays. Just go,
Crepuscular rays.
Yeah, that's the one here, the perfect thing there. Go to Google Images if you like.
So just at the beach.
Mind-blowing. So how can the sun be 93 million miles away, yet it creates this, and some of them you see.
Oh man!
Through
you can see the clouds behind.
That one, the last one on that first row.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How is that occurring? All these, you can
These
see the
little
sun
rays
is
going
close. Right above the clouds as it appears.
It's a song.
3,000. Oh, right. Okay. So, yeah.
Sorry.
Gee, it's amazing.
You need to use DuckDuckGo because you can pull up the images a lot.
Another one, and just type now,
easier.
if you want to type in front of crepuscular rays, type anti-crepuscular rays. Anti.
I don't know about this.
It's not like they're against crepuscular rays, these guys. See how it's bouncing the other way now? So one way, it depends on where the... Yeah.
Whoa.
Down.
Anti-crepuscular rays.
And these are just incredible.
Looks like a direct energy weapon, man.
And when you see them, come on, isn't it amazing when you mine and when you now go, okay, you're questioning things, is the sun close? Well, this is pretty good evidence that it's close and not distant, because how could it have peeked through those clouds and created those hot spots on the water if it was 93 million miles away?
It takes
would be
8
reflecting,
minutes.
And it takes 8 minutes, 8 AU, astronomical units.
In light years, 292,000. But 1 light year is exactly the same coordinates and degrees of the pyramid of Khufu.
Only if you already know light. Yeah, I know. That's
weird, huh?
Bullshit. 296, milliseconds per second, kilometers per second or whatever it is.
It's exactly this. Yeah.
It's bullshit. And I reckon that's how they convinced us all this. The aliens must have come and gave all these numbers. And no, I reckon they don't know that because no one knows the speed of light. Because if you Google the speed of light, and is it constant? No, it's a variable. Because you can vary it through the medium. So let's say you have an atmosphere, cool. How do you know the conditions of the atmosphere? For example, is the speed of light constant through, if I got a laser and I hit water, does the water slow down the speed of light? It does. And they've done experiments on it.
There we go. Moffat's VSL theory.
And what's in the atmosphere? Water particles
can stop like a bicana. So how did they know the speed of light? Who measured that exactly? And if you can measure the speed of light, why can't you measure the speed of the Earth? The rotational speed of the Earth, 1,000 miles an hour. That should be
no
one's ever done that.
Yeah.
How come
Are you serious?
No one's ever done that? There's not one experiment that can do that. And in fact, that's how it all started. If you look at the 1880s and 90s, there were guys like Michelson-Morley experiment. Google that, or the Sagnac experiment, or Airley's failure. And there were a lot of guys, because back then it was like discussion now. Where do we live? Are we on a ball? Who can prove it? And if you did, you'd be so freaking famous. But the only thing famous person we know about is Einstein. Because it goes quite the opposite of what, what should have happened. Right? Because what happened is these guys here, Michelson-Morley, all those guys, they were trying to, measure, okay, are the stars, as we're watching through a telescope, are they appearing to move? Is it moving? The stars moving, or are we moving? right? That's the ultimate question. So they put their telescopes and they'd angle the star, measure the angle of the star coming in and whether that moved or we moved. And another guy would have another experiment, and then they would go, okay, well, if the Earth is spinning this way, we fire light this way to that way, it should be spinning faster this way because going with that, right? And against that, if we fire that way, it should be going a different, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah? Logically, it should. And they were trying to measure that with all these experiments, and they couldn't. So then Einstein comes along. Like most people at that point were like stunned. Einstein then comes
Deer
along.
in the headlights.
And hears about this experiment. Because at that point he was like, there's no no optical experiment to prove that the Earth is in motion. So Einstein comes along, it's like they put him there. He was like a fraud, that guy. Big time. And
Nikola Tesla was the real
he
deal.
had the
They shut him
Einstein
down.
of, was it special relativity first? And then that didn't work. They debunked that. And then he had to change
General.
to general relativity. Which is
It's general.
Everything's general, relative. You could be on a train, when you're on a train.
Generally relative.
You think the other train is moving when you're at the station, and it could be you, me, you have that. Those, but we soon realise I'm moving, or no, shit, that's the other train, because you're like, and that's part of the theory that he used to. But what he did, really sneakily, he said that telescope that they were measuring, he said that contracted. They call it not contract. So they call it Lorentz contraction. So the device changed size, and that's why he then devised his theory on the basis that the tape measure stretched, and that's why it's a different measurement.
What?
Just bullshit, and that's what people fell for, and no one could prove it or disprove it because they put this guy on a pedestal.
Fucking oath they had him on
And
a
if
mega
you went to
pedestal.
school and went, oh, Einstein's got...
E equals MC squared,
everyone would have
dude.
shot you down. Forget about 9/11's fake. If you went and said Einstein...
He's a
is
fraud.
fake, or forget it.
Yeah.
You're fucked.
Or evolution is a lie. Try saying that to people. That there's a
GG.
God, you're made by a creator. And I think this whole thing is about that. They tried to feed this idea that we're made by aliens distant afar, and it could be other life out there on another planet millions and millions of miles away. But really, this is the special place. And they don't know what it is. I don't think anyone knows this place.
You know what really gets me? I've interviewed 2 astrologers on this podcast, right? Astrologers, right? Both of them believe the Earth is flat. Astrology is one of the most ancient...
Absolutely.
Most ancient methods, sciences, right? What is up there? Like,
Type in
what is it?
epicycles. Epicycles, if you like. Epicycles of the stars, if you...
Epicycles of the stars.
Just say, and go to images.
Ptolemaic.
Beautiful. I never knew the term.
Ptolemy, the guy after Alexander the Great's mate.
Yeah. And
What
these
a
guys all
sick
believe
man.
that
It's all
Earth is
sacred
flat.
geometry.
And they make... Look, how long can we live
Go
to
images.
know what all the stars are doing? Yeah, go back on it. Just go images.
Yeah.
This is all the sacred geometry of
That
the planet
second
movement.
image. This is
This
what
one?
the stars are.
Oh, there. What is
Right, I don't
going
know if
on
you
in
get
this?
it.
Oh,
Yes.
it's 219 by 216.
Bro,
It's gonna
It's
be.
only
Use
small.
DuckDuckGo.
There might be a better one of
I don't
that,
even
and there
have
should be.
DuckDuckGo.
But
As a-
this is what... So when we say...
yeah.
Like, have you ever seen... so when we see the moon, the new moon rises from a different location to the full moon.
And just search that
notice
epicycles again.
When it's a new moon, it's like it's rising from this direction. When it goes full moon, it's right. So the moon, if you ask people, where does the moon rise from? They'll always go, it rises from the east. So it's no, it doesn't. Because it's doing this thing. It's doing epicycles in these beautiful patterns like you used to draw as a kid with your sketch.
What happened?
That
Just use it as a website. Just duckduckgo.com and then go images.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just a website.
I thought it wanted me to download it.
No,
fuck the browser.
DuckDuckGo is a search engine.
Oh, lovely.
There, yeah.
Just go epicycles.
Epicycles.
Much better, isn't it, DuckDuckGo?
Have you looked the scientist Luigi? What's his?
Even of the moon,
Luigi?
if you want to sorry, what? Which
You
one is
know
it?
Luigi, the Italian scientist. He developed a few different ways to test the movement of the rotation of the Earth, and his Santos goes into him, and all his documentaries are all in Italian. And
Oh yes, Gianardo de
I think-
Bruno. Gianardo Bruno.
no,
Is that guy they
Luigi-
burnt at the stake or no?
No, he's recent. I think
Got
he was
burnt
like
to the
maybe
They did, yeah, they burnt
50
him
years
alive.
ago.
Something like this.
So with DuckDuck, you can see the resolution, and then you can click view
file,
file, and then boom, you've just got the.
Far out.
This is incredible because that's what the stars are doing, and look at the patterns.
Yeah, man.
Paternal from the paternal, the father pattern.
It's geometric for sure. There's so much geometry
and Mother
in that.
Earth with matter. So you've got a pattern and a matter working together. This mother and father, mother and the
creation energy.
Mother is the matter and father is the paternal pattern.
Yeah,
it's like incredible, man. And once your brain sort of goes like this place is special.
Yeah, you
become a different person. Because nearly every person I've met that has switched, gone, hey, this is geocentric. You can't help but consider that there's a God, a creator, because everything that's created has to have a creator.
Of
it's
course,
as simple as that.
Yeah,
even if you don't have all the answers of which religions, I don't believe in that anymore. I just think we all can prove that we have a creator.
If you build it, they will
We're
come.
all same blood, all red-blooded, right? We all got eyes and ears and noses.
What do they reckon if you go into space or something, your blood goes blue?
That's bullshit, huh?
What
all the people who've been to space are Freemasons.
I just remember that as a kid.
Freemason, like ex-pilot,
it's
or
probably
something like that.
Reptilians.
You sign confidentiality agreements, and really.
Oh, the Buzz, what's his name? Buzz Aldrin. The recent
kid.
Like the recent
scary.
stuff where
crazy.
she asks him.
I think as you get older, you start telling the truth, and even
the guilt and
even a lot of the he was a guy that germ theory and
terrain theory.
Yep. I can't remember his name, but even him, he on his deathbed sort of went, hang on, I don't know, and it could be wrong, and one sip of the cup of science will make you an atheist, and at the bottom of the cup, God is waiting for you.
Wow.
Right? Shit like that. Because they all know, man. They know that they can't answer. If they're honest with yourself and anyone on this we don't know.
We're just trying our best.
I don't know who's God. And they go, who made God then? I don't. That's a really complex word. That's a hard one to dive into. Because then if you start to go, who made God? Well, who made that God? And you start doing this freaking loops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the whole sort of once you look into this and you start to reconsider what we've been told, as well as evolution, and it's like, I say to people, I say, well, if you believe in Darwinism and the theory of evolution, by all means, if you are going to disrespect your grandparents and your grandparents are monkeys, by all means, like that's on you.
Well said, man.
But I believe, we are all
disrespecting your own heritage.
I know.
Yeah.
Imagine if they saw you and really
super too.
Yeah.
Seriously, they'd slap you.
And then it's like before the monkeys, then you go all the way down. It's a bit of bacteria, a bit of mold growing on a rock. Like, is that where you think we came from?
Perfectly evolved, and
Yeah. So then it's like the whole
mold on a rock turned into blue-haired crusader.
Crazy theory, isn't it? I believe in microevolution. I can accept that. A species can evolve, but it can't change from one kind to another. You're never going to go from a bird has evolved to a tiger,
dinosaur,
and then to us, and that's just crazy.
They reckon the dinosaurs evolved into chickens.
Yeah, I know. I know. They're chickens now. So when you're
paleontology
eating KFC,
is a fraud science.
Dinosaur, and then they're trying to tell you that all these dinosaurs, the
fossils,
fossil is a fuel that we're putting in our car, and just crazy shit like that.
And they call it a finite, fossil fuels. So then they could price it up, make more money off it, when it's actually a naturally reoccurring substance in the earth.
I think it was the Rockefellers.
It's an organic.
They paid the scientific community
to do
around
that.
the world.
They did.
Didn't
Fucking
they? Went to
they
universities.
Did that.
Bang, money,
and that goes back to the cabal, the Illuminati, who control the world.
Yeah, full on deception from every angle. But
in terms of resets, with the Rockefellers, and in 1911. I forget that program where they wiped all of the Eastern, the holistic and Eastern medicine and science was coming into the West, and they're like, no, we need to take control here. If you could please pull up 1911, the Rockefeller Report, I think it was called, where they completely changed all curriculum for schooling, for medicine.
Was that through the Tavistock Institute and all those guys?
Intelligence, the Rockefeller Commission Report 2000.
1911.
And there's so much we don't know about. And, now just briefly as you're bringing this up, because we don't know about this. We didn't get taught about this. And we didn't get taught about Nikola Tesla. We got taught about
Flexner report. That's the one.
The Flexner report, 100 years later. I
haven't heard of that. But, we all heard of Albert Einstein at school, but we didn't hear about Nikola Tesla. This genius that invented... it's questionable as well, but I didn't even know about him, and I didn't know about
one photo of him sticking his tongue out with his crazy.
I know,
head.
and he's like, he's got all this, but I do that too, It's just shit.
He was best friends with Oppenheimer.
I think before on camera, I went like this, and I'm like, you know what I mean?
That screenshot it.
I know. Yeah. I got to be careful of exactly what I don't know. Sometimes I'm at my desk and I find this comfortable. I know, just like, or this even what, and then I find shit. Someone takes a photo of that. I'm Illuminati. Or, I got to scratch your eye and far out.
Well, that's the problem with the internet. Yeah, it's the good and the bad of the internet. It's
we should be taking on our merits and what we do, what we speak of, what we say. We've said a lot of things in this podcast today.
But that one thing he did, he's a
fucking, he's an agent. He's an agent.
Some guy on my Twitter yesterday,
controlled opposition.
He called me a CIA agent, and I
well done.
pissed myself.
You made
serious?
it.
I was like, I live in Australia. How am I a CIA agent? They're not even in Australia. I mean, they're different. Call the Australia, but how CIA like?
Congratulations.
You've made it today. You've made it. You've made it today. Well done. Well done.
Yeah, Freemason shape did.
One of these ones and shit.
Yeah. Sorry, my hands are sweaty.
No, it's getting
warm.
Yeah. So I brought this up because
sorry.
This is where they reset the knowledge, the history of knowledge, and it's like.
Nice.
In terms of the internet currently,
I thought it was the Tavistock Institute that did this, but
they came after.
Beyond. Yeah, this is why they did that because of this. That was their
Yeah, and then eventually they started coming up with the Carnegie Institute and all these other trilateral commissions.
So with this machine that they got, they can literally change history, the dates and everything. Now we're looking at Tartaria and going, "How these buildings built? You built that in 7 months."
Well, they were founded in...
Have you seen Garden Palace in Sydney?
Garden Palace in Sydney?
Absolutely incredible.
Unbelievable. And they didn't teach us that at school. Is that what it's called? Garden Palace.
Oh, the Crystal Palace was...
That
story...
I've got to get back to the DuckDuckGo.
Garden Palace...
Do you hear what they did with the Crystal Palace? They built it within like a year.
That's the same
and then they brought it down... They pulled it down.
Yeah.
And they moved it down the road.
Oh, just like the
eyelash right here.
The Boston Big Fair, the Boston Fair or something.
The World Fairs and all that.
The World Fairs.
Unclick Australia, the top left, the little...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just that off. Oh, wow. Is this it?
This place was next
Is this
level.
What they made out of paper mache or
in
something?
In 1879. Look how early that is.
That looks like they've taken it, stolen it.
They reckon it took them 7 months to build this building.
They're doing a tunnel under for 10 years. They can't even do a tunnel.
To build this, and they reckon it burnt down in like a day because some, it's creating a fire candle started.
The Great International Exhibition of Sydney, as seen from the harbour.
No shit. That's how big this thing was. And you can't just,
zoom.
Butso Malakia. Click zoom if you want to zoom into some of the detail of how many rooms this would have had. And, what about the ancient asylum buildings that you see were built in the same era? All of them about that 1879, which is good about that Fresno report, because that's how they just hid all this shit, right?
You know what I keep thinking? All right. America lost England lost power over America in the Civil War. Right. And straight after that, right, they went to Australia.
Yeah.
And they were cut. They were pissed off. They were traumatized because they lost America, right? Because America was too strong and they rebelled. They did this. That's what the Civil War was, wasn't it?
I know, yeah.
And then they came here and they just genocided and cleaned up. So if there was buildings like this... Right here, around the world, specifically the Tartaria talks about the Tartaria conspiracy theory. What it is like, it's a vast empire that once existed in Asia and Europe. Right, that's what they're saying.
And possibly around the world.
Yeah, possibly other regions too, but was erased from historical records by global cabal for various reasons. And Yeah.
Can I trip you out?
Yeah.
About I haven't said this publicly on any show before, so
yeah, we got an exclusive.
Zig
exclusives.
Go to DuckDuckGo.
Yeah, it's on. It's on DuckDuckGo.
Yep, just go to the search. Yeah, like do a search, new search. We're gonna type for images of Jesus preaching to a crowd.
Is he black?
Images of Jesus preaching to a crowd.
Okay, look at that for a second image.
Second one, this one.
What's with all these buildings? Is that, man? Like, check out all the picture or images or the depictions.
That's the same structures that they use in Peru.
Maybe go images
pyramids.
and go Jesus. Yeah, what did I? Even this one. Look at this shit. What's going on? Because when I pictured Jesus preaching to the crowd, but there was nothing back then, man. These guys were cave people, apparently. So you were building buildings like this, and it's actually much better. Maybe we're not searching for the right thing. I think I typed Jesus sermon buildings behind him or something like that, right? And if you look at there, you go, what the heck, man? Did they
let's go.
have these
Church
real, look at that.
Christ
look
preaching.
how they used to depict stuff even back then.
That's quite gothic.
So was there a big flood that wiped it all out? And was there even when Noah was around? You know, maybe these buildings existed. Maybe
have you heard?
Maybe because when we hear Noah and go, how did he build that boat? Ooh, just hammer. Maybe they had the ability to build this big. And have you seen
these were healing centers?
Have you seen Noah, the movie on Netflix? You know, with Russell Crowe?
Yeah, I saw it.
Out.
Fucking good movie.
A really good movie. Really
I enjoyed
good movie.
watching that.
Should watch that.
Seen it twice.
At the end, not at the end, but halfway through, you sort of see
spoilers.
The giants come and helping him.
Were they the Nephilim?
So then that makes more sense. The Nephilim.
Nephilim.
But some of the Nephilim were good. They sort of saw.
And the other ones ate humans.
And the other ones were bad and, you know, debauchery happening of this Sodom and Gomorrah. You know, that's why Noah wanted to do that. Because as a kid, I always not as a kid, but as I got older, I sort of like, gee, God's a prick, you know, why would he flood the whole world? And like,
why would he do that?
You know, what would he do that for?
Yeah.
Like, but now it sort of makes sense, you know, I'd do that. If I had a fish tank and all my fish tank were like hybrids and not, they're supposed to be yellow cichlids, but now they're all black and they're just default, you know.
I've got a fish tank, I love
Me too, I've got a fish tank too.
Yeah. Cichlids are cool.
Aren't they? Yeah, I've got heaps of cichlids. I started with 4.
They're sick.
And they're sick. And if you don't have, you know, like I've got like at one point I had hundreds in there.
Poor.
Every day there'd be little babies. But that's only because I had males and females.
Yeah.
But if you're just males in this fish tank, you're not going to get any more. You're not going to have 4 males and then end up with 10.
You need the divine forces of both creation.
You need both. Yeah, that balance. That's what creates more. And it's just like fascinating. Because when you watch them and they're like about 2 millimeters big, man, when they're babies.
Yeah. It's hectic.
They're hiding already.
Yeah.
From the big ones. They've already got a brain. They know fear. They know food. You put food. What?
Yeah.
You serious? In that little tiny body, the size of an ant, smaller, is
fear response. It's already intelligent. Yeah, exactly.
Wow. And they reckon that happened by accident. I don't buy that story. Yeah.
This is the Garden of Eden. Yeah? From a small little cichlid to an elephant or a jaguar or a hellcat. To a human. And
beautiful as well.
Yeah.
Flowers and the water and just
so much hyper-complexification in this in this
and they reckon
paradise.
A big asteroid hit us or a meteor and it wiped out the dinosaurs.
Fantastical stories.
Have you seen geysers? Have you looked into that? Because all these questions. How did
geysers.
Geysers. Yeah, geysers. I'm sorry.
Geyser.
Pyramid Geysers. Yeah, this is incredible. Geyser. S-E, just that geyser.
Oh, here we go. We're getting into some geology.
Images and look at this. So in the Bible it says when the great flood happened, it doesn't say it rained for 40 days and for the original story. They gave us that.
Forbidden.
Duck, bro.
That's
duck,
when
duck.
you know isn't this
they're watching
duck?
us now, man. They're like, you know.
It was duck.
But see what happens. So if you go, and after this occurs, now you got me questioning myself. Guys are a G. Oh,
what is going on?
When it occurs, it leaves a crater at the bottom. So if you now go to like craters, what's going on? Do we lose internet?
We'll go another one. We're starting to move into
the electric universe theory. Have you looked into that?
So this is a natural occurrence.
The electric universe theory.
Yes, incredible stuff, isn't it? Yeah. We are electric anyway, because everything...
Vibrations. It's all vibrations, man.
Yeah, my mum was having heart problems about 10 years ago, and it ended up being, apparently, your heart, you have heartstrings. If you've probably heard,
she pulled my heartstrings, yeah.
Yeah, right? So apparently what they did was a specialist that came from overseas, and she was like a cardiologist.
Heart.
Yeah, exactly. But I was trying to think of like a surgeon as well.
Yeah.
And she ended up, in her heart, there was 2 wires loose. So then I would ground and accidentally hit the other. Like, imagine that. You've got a wire hitting the body of your car, and it would wrecks everything.
They're
not welding them together, and she has had no more.
Because they sorted out the grounding issue.
She was collapsing. As I was living in Sydney, that's why I moved back to Melbourne. Crazy. So we're electrical, and that's electrical stuff. So I don't know.
They can't replicate us yet. They're trying. We're too powerful, man.
Way too special.
Rather than trying to replicate human, they're just going to infuse
technology
digital
with human.
Yeah.
And now we're at the point of talking about Schmucky Boy.
Yeah, Elon Schmuck. Fuck Elon Schmuck. Yeah, I'm talking to you, bastard.
Yeah.
Dog.
What you doing, bro? What are you doing, man?
You want to put a chip in my brain?
Because I honestly don't know what that guy's doing. Because you know when they sent that red car into space?
Oh my
I think that caught him off guard. I reckon
it's so real that what is it? So real. It looks so real that it's fake,
bro. It's so HD, bro.
So crazy. And I reckon that was the cabal's way of just testing him. Is he going to come out and go, nah, man, that wasn't me? Are you guys playing Tootsies?
I accidentally kicked his foot. I got a stool here.
But is it their way of testing him and going, what's he going to need? He came up with that excuse. So I can tell it's real because it looks so fake. We've done a better job
at the start, I when I was a kid, I looked up to Elon Musk because I would be like, he wants to terraform Mars. He's got big plans. He sold PayPal for $200 million. Now he's building.
I'm a web developer, so I've always looked, eBay,
same.
That was huge, PayPal, I mean.
Yeah.
Wow, he must be pretty smart. But then I didn't know shit about the world to now.
Never worship these idols, these fake idols.
He's going to the fucking Davos things. He's going to all these big wig events. He's a part of the global
wearing Baphomet clothing.
Oh, that's disgusting. Yeah.
Disgusting.
And he memes about it too. And then he bought Twitter, X. Is going to turn it into a WeChat, which is pretty much social credit system rollout by 2030.
Yep.
He's playing the game exceptionally well. And he's fooling a lot of, innocent kind of people. And honestly, man, like only the last couple of months, I've started to dislike him. I was always like, oh, he's a good guy. He's trying his best, Buzz Aldrin made him cry, this and that bullshit. And I always...
Did he? I didn't see that.
Yeah, Buzz Aldrin is like, he's a fuckwit. He's a scam. He's a dog, this and that.
That's the pot calling the kettle black, isn't it?
I know, right? I know. So I always had a soft spot for Elon. But now, I don't know. It's kind of changed, especially with this Neuralink shit, He's pushing this transhumanism fucking agenda, dude. And this is the Antichrist.
I've got to admit, okay, Neuralink. If someone is like paraplegic, they've been lying in bed for 20 years.
But that's already what he said. They're the first people to get it, and I'm happy for that. I think that's all right.
Yeah, I think they're going to be able to say "I love you" to their spouse that they haven't been able to say that for 20 years.
Imagine kids with autism, severe autism. If he can help them, right? That's.
Fuck that.
It's a but, isn't it? Yeah, because you're messing with
Where does
God.
It end, bro? Where does it end? Because then the everyday stock trader is going to be like, if I get this brain chip, am I going to be able to fucking play the system better and make money, take the cream off the top?
When they first brought up this stuff even 10 years ago about future possibilities, that's how they sold it. They sold it, if your child has got this in their brain, he's going to be smarter than the other students at school.
Exactly.
Like, what the heck is that about?
Oh, I'm going to have to do this so that my child can have the advantage over the other one. Gattaca. Next thing, you've got synthetic humans. What's the real human?
Absolutely, reading every thought you've got. And I think, is that their ultimate aim, though?
But if you think about
it... you think about, oh, shit, I'm going to go and smoke a joint, they're already bang at your door, like...
Get on the ground now!
Get on the ground! Your social credit sort of shuts down. No more money for you, nothing.
You jaywalked across the street.
They kind of did that in China, didn't they?
They've done that. That is happened in China.
In a different way, right? But they have, without the chip. They don't even need the chip.
They got fucking cameras everywhere in Victoria nowadays.
Unbelievable.
Everywhere,
and they put them up during COVID, didn't they? Conveniently, like we were locked down to doing a train stage, put up cameras and turning this city into a digital prison.
You know what? You know what? Also, I just thought then, imagine if the vaccine actually helps you connect with Neuralink better.
I was thinking that too, man, because you see a lot of these videos and just their possibility. We don't know. Nanotechnology. We don't know what they have.
Yeah.
And everything else they do is bad, so why would they're going to make that good?
Yeah.
Well, if they're spraying metallic particles in the air and we're eating it, we're breathing it,
All my crops that I grow, I've got a massive garden in the backyard,
Is it?
Every year, I've been doing gardens for 6 or 7 years now.
Yep.
Since probably 2017. Every year, it gets harder and harder to grow veggies.
My tomato plants, I'm so embarrassed. 2 tomatoes.
Man,
I only had 4 plants here, but 2 tomatoes? Yeah. That's it?
I grew 15 tomato plants.
Summer's been
Dude, I don't know what they're spraying in the sky, but those wispy, wavy particle clouds that are not fully formed, right? They're not organic. They're not natural. The earth didn't create them. They're inorganic. Someone has
definitely
sprayed something in there.
Well, they've got to convince mankind that there's climate change, don't they?
So they're changing the climate as a result.
Yeah. So now we see summer in Melbourne is now we're getting the hot weather and people going, oh yeah, climate change. Well, they just modify that. That means I can modify the heat in a
climate
house.
control. Climate control.
Yeah, exactly. And I was going, wow, it's getting hot in here. Right, heat.
That's what HARP is, right? HARP has been. We've been talking about HARP for 15 years now.
What's going on? Why do they have this stuff?
Yeah.
Why?
Why is it set up as a pentagon?
Yeah. Why is it so? Why aren't you telling us? Why isn't it? Everyone should know about HARP, shouldn't they? If it's so good that you're doing, what about those? I don't know what they are because they're in those golf ball thing. You can't see them out there, but there's probably HARP as well, or creating earthquakes or tsunami. They could do so much. We don't know.
There's a game called Red Alert 2. Do you remember that game?
Right. I have heard of it. But
it was an old school game, Command and Conquer, right? Red Alert and then Red Alert 2.
Okay.
Now, there was opposing factions. There was the red team and the blue team, right? Red team is standard. They do this with everything. Politics, any Cold War. So this was pretty Cold War based because it was made in probably late 1990s because I grew up as a kid with this game. Now, there was the Russians with the Middle East and the Stans and the Slovakian kind of countries.
Yep.
And then the blue team was the allies, the alliance. Sure. It was all the cities, the big countries, right? The fucking big dogs, the good guys, right? The good guys' super weapon, right, was weather control, manipulation. So they had a giant HARP and they could cause a weather storm to fuck you up, fuck the other base up, right? And then the red team, Russians, they just had a nuke. And you could just nuke someone. And that's how it would work. Within those different factions, I had countries. And from then, it got me thinking about weather. Back when I was in 1999 or something with this, or 2001.
Just from the narrative of this game.
I can show you.
Just before, shout out to Bro Sanchez TV.
Yeah,
Bro Sanchez TV.
Check him out.
He's been doing it for ages.
Top of the game.
Absolutely, and very knowledgeable man with a really good ability to question things. So I like the way he does it. Actually.
Pattern recognition. That's what I
definitely
see. Even
he's got military experience as well, doesn't he?
Yeah,
does he? Yeah, he does. I think he was in the military as a.
I think he was in the Air Force, but as communication signals or something like that.
Cool.
So this is what the weather control device.
I kind of like that about America because they do have, we're not knowledgeable in that stuff through the army. I mean, a lot of them did join the army. Not that I agree with all that shit anyway.
Yeah.
But they can teach you good skills if you go and just get in and get out. If you want to do if you're going to do an apprenticeship and something and you go in the army, you're going to at the top level of that electrical
tax-free wages.
Yeah, true. So they do, but then trying to get out of there, if they make you want to go to war, that's a different, isn't it?
Fuck
Stuff that, man.
They might want us to go to war with China, so you go to
Russia,
Taiwan.
Exactly. And Russia, they're just got to go to... Why?
Fuck
what did that Russian guy do to me? Why should I go...
Why young men always fighting wars dictated by
rich old
young men who don't know each other.
Yeah.
Fight the wars for old men who do know each other. It's fucking pointless.
Touching on that, and
so this is
the game, right?
This is the game, and the weather that is the weather control device, right?
Man.
And that's what would happen, right? So they implement cloud storm systems and thunderbolts, lightning, just to destroy the other base.
Why would you think of this as a game? Would you, as a kid? I want to create a game based on weather. But
and that's what it was based on. This is the actual device.
Right. But
it looks like some
what you said about that Flexner
report.
And just everything happening then, and the wars were happening, and they used a lot of these wars, destroyed so many Tartarian buildings, didn't they? Beautiful buildings that were there. Oh, the wars destroyed them. If you look at Dresden before war and the after war photos, it just you wouldn't even think it's Germany. It looks like bloody, Italy. You wouldn't imagine those buildings being there anyway. But one thing you do notice as well is, a lot of the movies with World War One, they're soldiers going through mud and mud. What's all that mud?
Mud floods.
What's going on?
Mud
right?
Yeah, what is that?
What's going on? Why was there so much mud that they were going through? And, the movie, even what some of the good World War One movies, they can be good, but well produced. They're going through mud this high and what happened? What created the mud?
Also, those Tartarian buildings, right? They always had some form of a dome at the top.
Didn't they?
That was some form of like an electrical free
energy
device,
energy
right?
From the ether.
Yeah, that's what they...
Have you seen what they're saying? They said they're saying that they were like the brass balls that are on top of there. They've got like a bit of antenna, but there's mercury in there. And it creates the mercury spins, and it creates energy flowing down, and you can actually get a voltometer and get even a small glass of sealed container of mercury and spin it, and it creates voltage just by you spinning mercury. So is that why they told us that mercury is so bad? Don't touch that.
What's an old alchemic
mercury was always
ingredient,
Yeah, for sure. Madame Curie, Mercury, and that's something they're really crazy with these wording as well, and these names that they've come up with, and I don't know. There's more to this world than
bro, 100%, man. We've been talking for 2.5 hours.
We could do another. We've got another one, or is that that flat Earth thing? And it's a topic that you just got to. I think that's the grandest of them all, because I think that's, even if it's not the flat, but just about you as a human, what you're doing here on Earth. And if someone tells you, you can't trust your own senses, you got to believe me about where you live, like they've already taken part of your sanity right there.
Let's end on 5 good arguments commonly presented by someone that's pro flat Earth. I've gotten a few here. I'll go through them, and you can. So the first one's the perception of the horizon.
Okay.
The second one, lack of visible curvature.
Yep.
Third, gravity and density. Fourth, water's surface. And 5, experimental interpretations. So
definitely, they're all brilliant, and especially the perspective. The first one you said, because I think that's why I started off in my book. That's my book
the Elusive
there, by
Curve.
the way. But eyes. That's the first thing I did. I sort of went, because the 2 characters. It's a novel, and the guys main characters told
Max.
His friend Max tells Sam the Earth is flat, and so Sam starts off with, "Have you lost your freaking mind? What do you mean the Earth is flat?" And then Max has to take him through the process of understanding how our eyes work, because that's critical. If we can't understand this, and a lot of people don't understand perspective, it's a very complex topic. There's a book called The Geometry of Visibles, and it's like thick as and all about your eyes and the acuity of your eye, and things get smaller in distance as they get further, and just things we know anyway. Just even parallax. Have you heard of parallax? Parallax is like how we motion parallax and distance parallax. So if you're on a train, the objects further from you appear to be going slower. If you're traveling, even in a car, you're driving along, the distance objects look going slower. Right here, you'll see the road, and it's like going really fast. That's part of understanding distance and motion parallax. But we're not taught that about school. Isn't it funny? And we don't know about that.
We're told fuck all.
But the first guy that discovered parallax is probably something we all did as a kid. Where did you ever put your eye there and then close one eye and do that and do that? And it looks like the finger's moving, but is it? No, because it's your eye.
Interpretation,
and then if you do this and put your finger here and measure it compared to, say, that back there, you'll see they do all sorts of things. So now you measure this, what the movement here is only this much. With my eye, oh, fuck, they're going to get me on this, aren't they? Wing in his eyes. Oh, fuck, what am I doing? But then you measure the disc, because this is only moving this far, but then that is... So that's what parallax was. It was about, in the ancients, them understanding what their eyes are doing. And we don't get that. We don't, we don't. Yeah,
the veil needs to be lifted.
It does, isn't it? That's what the apocalypse is. And in the Bible, it's called Revelation. The final chapter is called Revelation.
And apocalypse is the awakening.
The final chapter in Greek is called Apocalypse, which means the awakening.
That's right. Yeah.
But every movie was sold to us as like, remember the 2000, the end of world, and
But the birth of a new one.
Yeah. It's good. I think we're going to get there. I think 2024 is going to be a huge year.
Oh, if Trump wins.
Yeah, that's I don't know what to think there as well.
Trump,
I don't, man. Yeah. That's another huge topic.
Grab him by the pussy,
but guess what? Despite what I believe, I think it's fair. He comes back and we see what this movie's about.
Yeah, fucking know.
Does he come back?
He's entertaining, man.
Yeah,
I like him.
I want to see this fight play out.
Yeah.
I don't want to see them just, No, I want to see him come back and... if he comes back and just acts like doesn't do anything again, I'm going to drain the swamp and this and that. And if he doesn't come back and go Biden and impeach him 91 times, then we've got to, then we know we're effed.
Biden will probably just die as soon as he relinquishes power.
I reckon they're ready to do. Just
because they're pumping him up with so much
just
shit,
even
man.
yesterday, they found how they've been trying to blame Trump on having documents and he's hiding
Mar-a-Lago, all this
yeah. Well, they just found all these documents in Biden's garage, which you probably heard a while ago.
On his son's laptop.
Yeah, and he's been sharing with people, and now the head, the solicitor, or the what do you call it, the
Attorney
prosecutor,
General,
who was examining, going, oh well, it's just an old guy with a really bad memory. Well, if he's an old guy with a bad memory,
why the fuck is he the president of the United States?
Well done.
You know what else?
Well, so they're ready to...
Yeah. Tucker Carlson did the...
Fuck Tucker Carlson.
But he's a warrior as well.
All right. So he interviewed...
I
know. He interviewed Putin, right?
Fuck Putin.
All right. But anyway. Regardless of that. Yeah.
I got a history lesson and that's all I got.
I didn't even listen to all of it, but I read the comments because sometimes that's more important than listening to it.
Yeah, true.
Right? And what I realized was Putin didn't even bring up America once. He just gave a history lesson on Russia. He probably knows, right, the most out of all politicians about their own country. Whatever that is, right? I don't even care about that. But I just laughed that he didn't even bring up America, even though America's trying to destroy Russia, right?
Bring up a little bit. He did.
He did a little bit?
About propaganda. He actually said to Tucker Carlson, he said... I know you wanted to be in the CIA because apparently Tucker Carlson wanted to be in the CIA and Putin called him out on that. Goes, I know you wanted to be a part of CIA, but they didn't take you in. Fuck. And then Tucker Carlson's face is like, so he called it like he's a good chess player. If that's chess, he's good at poker.
100 million views.
If I played poker, if you play poker with Putin, you'd probably lose because he's pretty fucking smart. That guy.
Yeah, fucking oath, man.
Pretty fucking. But guess what gets me? America, Russia, we hate each other, gonna kill you.
They're best mates, man.
International Space Station, they're best friends up there,
man,
no problem at all. Shake hand,
keep it global.
Yeah,
we didn't even mention the Antarctic Treaty, every
we
country.
didn't even mention Admiral Byrd.
Yeah. International Space Station.
Admiral Byrd, again, anything that comes out of US military or even that
his name was Richard Byrd, wasn't it? So what's the short name for Richard? Dickie Byrd. You gotta wonder what they do with these names. Really?
It's all Masonic, eh?
Isn't it?
Could be.
And then on that, how he went out there. Apparently, he had 1,300 soldiers on the ships, 33 aircraft, 13 of those.
Yeah.
All these numbers, like what?
Yeah, they love numerology.
Excuse me.
I'm hungry.
That didn't sound good, But there was so much more to touch on, wasn't there?
Mm.
And maybe we could do that in part 2.
Yeah, for sure, man. We'll just do another one, and it doesn't need to be a part 2.
I do waffle.
No, man. It's great. It's great to have you on. It's
great to be here, and we've been meaning to do this for a while, so we're definitely going to do it again.
For sure, man.